Wow. There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning, upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. What up, world? Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome in the Rob Brown radio program. Is on the air. Good to be back with you. Happy Friday. Happy Masters Friday. My dudes, my dudettes, my amigos, my amiguettes, ever so wonderful to be with you one more time. Again, my name is Rob Brown. The pleasure is almost exclusively mine because, of course, the gentleman on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM, the guy in charge of not just this radio program, but every radio program you've ever heard and enjoyed. Of course, the great Malonzo is here as well. What up, Zoe?
You got sleep last night, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Is this what being a morning person feels like? Because I don't do it very often.
You are you're extra up this morning.
Hype.
Oh.
I don't get hype. I stay hype.
You're making things ring.
I mean, listen.
On the microphone. It's just like I don't know if these microphones have ribbons in them because I'm still sick, but if they do, they're screaming also. Will you stop?
I won't stop. I can't stop. I refuse to stop. It's all gas. It's Friday, man. We're done. Listen, 4 hours from now, the show's over. We go to the Fortress of Nerditude. We grind out another hour or two, and then it's weekend. We got Masters yesterday. We got Masters today. We got Masters tomorrow. We got Masters on Sunday. We got UFC 300 tomorrow night. We got big series around Major League Baseball. The play-in and playoffs in the NBA get locked in over the next couple of nights. How are you not jacked right now? Nope. I don't understand how you don't have gas.
I'm still recovering from. I have gas, but I'm still not that kind. I'm still recovering from illness. Okay, so I mean, maybe by tomorrow it will actually feel like the weekend for me.
I mean, feels pretty good right now. Hell yeah! I was out at like 9 o'clock last night, 9:15 last night. It's pretty spectacular. Finished up the Masters. They pulled the boys off the course about 10 after 7 last night. Said, a little too dark, boys, a little too dark. Why don't y'all come back to the clubhouse? Which, all of a sudden, in a turn of events that I forecasted, prognosticated, projected, told you was going to happen earlier in the day, today just got real interesting for those of us that are kind of hoping a compelling story materializes around Eldrick Tiger Woods, because now my dog's got to go out there and knock down 23 holes of golf today to make the cut. Now, he's pretty good where he's at right now. He's one under. He's well within the cut bubble.
You know, I in between medications yesterday, I jumped on social media and I saw that someone was excited about our guy Thunder Bear.
Thorbjorn! Thunder Bear was early in the day. He was up there for a minute. He was up there. He was hanging around the leaderboard.
Is Thunder Bear
just a minute?
Is he going to make the cut? Thunder Bear has to make the cut.
I mean, nobody has to make the cut, bud. Welcome to the Masters, my man.
Come on, Thunder Bear.
Welcome to the Masters. No one is given anything.
No,
that's why this tournament's so great.
Thunder Bear's got to win the whole thing, and then do they still organize the food the next year? When
they sure do.
It's nothing but Norse stuff.
They sure do.
Nothing but turkey legs, and they do basically a Renaissance fair. It'd be awesome.
I don't know why that's doing that, and I don't like it at all. Yeah, old Thorbjorn, old Thunder Bear was hanging around the top of the leaderboard for a little while yesterday. We'll have your leaderboard update coming up later on. We do know that round 2 will get going in the later morning because the later morning in the afternoon, because there are 27 golfers that have to get out there still and finish round number 1 this AM. As of right now, round 2 is slated to begin this afternoon around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which of course means we're going to have a similar situation. Now, this might be, this might be the good news for Eldrick. The good news for Eldrick might be that with tee times set to go at around 1 o'clock today, we might end up with a spot where Eldrick doesn't have to go. I say 1 o'clock. It's not 1 o'clock. It's earlier than that, but it late enough that Eldrick may not have to finish his whole 18. So my question is, if you're Tiger, would you rather get all your rounds or all your holes in today from the end of the first and all of round 2, or do you kind of hope that you are in a similar spot where you finish up round 1, you catch a little break to go rest and rehab, grab a turn dog and a brewski, and then go back out, play 12, 13, 14 holes later in the day, and then go finish round 2 tomorrow morning once you've made the cut? I don't know. We're going to talk about that. I also want to talk a little bit about Tiger. I want to talk a little bit about Tiger because I am curious as to where the majority of the fans stand. I am curious as to how y'all feel about this guy, because I was on yesterday evening, BetMGM Tonight, with Ryan, Nick, and Trista. And when we started, by the way, Group 1 going off, they actually moved it. It says 10:30. So that's not bad. They're not going to let the guys finish round 1 before they send out round 2. Once all the guys in round 1 are off, they're just going to start them, stacking them up like normal. I was a little taken aback because I was in the green room. You jump on the live stream, they kind of put you off on the side until they're ready to bring you onto the air. And I'm listening to Ryan, Nick, and Trista have this conversation where they were saying that they want, this blew my mind. They want Tiger to go away. Not all of them, 2 of them. I want to say, I don't even want to guess which ones it was.
I completely get it, because as long as he hangs around, and there are people like you who are big fans of him who think he has one more run, you can't get to the next guy if the old guy doesn't know it's time to move on.
Dude, I mean, it's time to move on when you're not competing. My guy's 1 under. He's ahead of. If you're upset with Tiger, you should be more mad at Phil Mickelson.
Oh, he should move on too. Yeah, I mean, to be consistent, absolutely. When the big names of yesteryear are still hanging on, but they can't quite compete, and barely make cuts and things like that, go to the senior tour. I mean, how old do you have to be on the senior tour?
55?
Do you? Is there a minimum age?
I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. The senior tour catches my attention when something cool happens on it.
Like when Phil and Tiger moved to it.
I genuinely don't understand.
Eventually
that concept.
You're going to have to let it go, Rob. It's hard. It's hard.
Here's my thing. Tiger Woods is more competitive than Ricky Fowler right now. Should Ricky quit? Does Ricky need to get the hell off the tour? Because Tiger's 1 under. Ricky Fowler, who's like 5 years younger than me, is at 5 over today. He is not making the cut unless he has a bananas day today. Does Ricky need to leave? Does Zach Johnson need to leave at 4 over?
I get the need to see the older guy that you idolized when you were a kid to still be there to make you feel younger. It makes you feel better about yourself. When I'm not talking about you as an individual, although you probably fall into this. That's your guy. That's always been your guy. You want to see your guy do pretty well, but after a while, you guy's pretty broken up. And
I don't disagree, but he is competitive right now.
It's a bunch of false hope.
He's gonna make the cut.
Is he for sure?
Yes. Unless Tiger goes, and I acknowledge
you talked about how many rounds he has to play in a row because of the delay.
He is 1 under through 13. He's going to go off this morning on 14 and go 14 through 18. So he's got to finish 5 holes. Then he will have he'll have a break of couple hours, and he will go back out at 3:54 this afternoon. 3:54, depending on the speed, he might.
By the way.
Hey,
that's my first one of the week, but I did miss most of the week, or part of the week. The lower age limit is 50.
50.
Yeah.
So there you go. Again,
and how old is Tiger? Like 43 or something like that?
To the senior tour guys. I have too much on my plate to be able to pay attention to senior tour golf as well. I will check in. He's 48, by the way. I will check in on the senior tour when something happens on the senior tour. Every now and then something happens on the senior tour that it's worth checking over. I am more apt to pay attention to the Korn Ferry Tour because that's where the next gathering of PGA Tour players are right now. So I'm more apt to pay attention to that.
When the camera goes, oh, let's see what Tiger's doing. Oh, there he is, struggling again.
He's not struggling, he's 1 under.
It's when they have to show him more than leaders, which happens a lot, then he's overshadowing the tournament.
He's 17. I'll tell you what.
What did the experts say? I'm just giving you my opinion. The BetQL people, you were talking about that. You were in the green room.
They said they were saying, oh, I hope he goes away soon. And I was like, why do you feel that way? And they said, similar to what you're saying, they're like, oh, like when Tiger is on the course, it's just all about Tiger. And I said, did you say that? Did you bring that same energy about Caitlin Clark over the last 2 months? Exactly.
You mean consolation Caitlin? Yeah.
You call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Should have been overshadowed by the undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks. But the media, she set scoring records and things. She did, but she also lost.
The media crap.
Yeah.
The media crap's gotta stop.
Won't.
The media gives us what we respond to. I can say that I'm the media.
They decide what we respond to.
That is incorrect. Listen, I've sat in newsrooms before. I have
how long ago was that?
Not long enough to be relevant today.
Yeah, well, things change.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Let's talk about how this radio station right here works. Let's just talk about today. Let's not pull the curtain back. Let's rip it off of the rings.
You mean when you write your show and you decide what is relevant? Which means
how do I decide what's relevant?
I don't know.
How do I do it?
How do you?
Cool. I'll tell you because I'm the media.
No, you're not. You're not the media.
I am absolutely the media.
You're an entertainer. You're not a journalist. You're an entertainer.
Let me tell you how the game works from somebody who has been in every single facet of this industry. I have been a public relations expert. I have been a reporter, a journalist, an editor, a producer, and now a host. I've done everything. Let me tell you how it works, America.
I've been everywhere, man.
I met him. It's a great song. Great song. Let me tell you how it works. Whatever you click on, you get more of. That's the ball game. Whatever you watch, you get more of. That's the ball game. Do you understand why, since the time that I have been here, I have said to you, if you're listening and a host said, well, I've got source that said this inflammatory thing, and you don't like it or you know it's bullcrap, turn your radio off. If you are on the internet and a big head talker goes out and goes, well, I know personally that, and you don't like that, turn it off. Because what counts is your eyeballs and your clicks and nothing else. The media says whatever gets you to pay attention because we have a for-profit media system. They're going to give you whatever you want. They always have. And what we want as Americans is superstars, not super teams. If a superstar is on a super team, super duper. But we don't want super teams. We don't want a team. You could right now, if I said to you, no, scratch that. I'm not going to ask you because most of you are going to lie and give the idealist answer. But the truth is this.
Wait, dude. I mean, so now you're questioning everyone's or most of people's honesty.
Yes, because I get to look at what is clicked on by the numbers.
Because they'll give you an answer that's not yours?
No.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Because I get to see what's clicked on. My entire career has been based on what people respond to. I know this to be true. If I gave America, I won't ask any of you individually, but if I gave America the option, hell, I don't even ask. It literally just happened. Literally just happened. If I gave you the option between a fantastic basketball team or one basketball player who's out here rewriting the record books, America goes with the individual. We always have. It is in our veins. It is in our blood. The feeling that individualism is more important than the team. It is quite literally a premise of the founding of this country that individualism comes first.
This is funny because the conversation we had before we went on the air, I explained to you how team is more important to me.
Again, emperor of idealism. That's why you are that.
It's not idealism.
It is. It is because the history of this country goes superstars over team.
Are we a team or is it just you?
Oh, we are a team.
Oh, okay.
We are a team.
Right.
It is, but 100%. Let me ask you this question. Who's your favorite radio guy of all time? Radio gal of all time? Favorite radio superstar? Can be working here, can be anywhere else. No, it can't be working here because then you'll be able to answer my question. Name me your favorite radio person outside this building.
All right,
Give them the free plug.
So if I were to
just name them
again, because we expound. That's what we do here because we got 4 hours. If I were to play your game, I would say my favorite radio personality of all time is me. But I'm not gonna. Oh, so you wouldn't pick you?
Who's your favorite?
You wouldn't pick you.
I said outside of this building.
Okay.
You are in this building.
Right.
I can't see you. John
all right. Dan Patrick.
Dan Patrick. Who's his producer?
He has 4, the Danettes, and that's how he likes to operate as a team. He likes a team.
Who's his
producer?
Is not.
I've never seen him do a show by himself.
Correct. Now,
because
what do you mean you've never seen it? He does a show by himself every day. It's
no,
the
he
Dan
doesn't.
Patrick show.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do the show by himself. If it was,
then give me an
most
name.
producers.
Then give me a name.
Most producers are. I can't remember. I can't remember names.
And ladies and gentlemen,
you got the. But that's unfair. You're taking advantage of someone who has trouble with names, especially lately when they're sick, to prove a point. And that's so you're taking advantage of my weekness to prove a point because I can't remember their names. I see them in my head. I will tell you one of them used to be Perloff, who is doing the morning show on the national thing right now. Used to be one of them. The other 3, I see them. Because you can't watch that show. All his intros, his video intros, everything. He has all his guys with him because to him, it's about the team. It's not about the individual.
That's awesome. You remember Dan Patrick's name, don't you? Why?
Again,
because he's
taking advantage of
a
weakness.
If forgetting names was a thing and the team was
all right, just remember the other one. It's Pauly. Yeah, you're taking advantage of my weakness. That's fine. That's fine.
No,
I can't remember names. I'm getting older. I'm forgetting more and more names all the time.
I understand what you're saying, and no, I'm not, because the point is literally the point. You remember Dan Patrick's name. Not a second did you have a struggle with Dan Patrick's name, but to anybody else on that team,
I did have.
Okay.
If you saw me. Listen, hold on a second. If you saw me stall, I stalled because I saw him in my head. I knew who my favorite was, but names are a problem for me. I mean, you go back and listen. I didn't right away throw his name out there because I couldn't remember his name.
Here's my point. The point is, everybody knows Dan Patrick's name.
When I forget your name, you're really going to feel bad.
He's going to intentionally call me by the wrong name later, and I'm going to forget and react. It's going to happen. The point here is we America, all of us collectively, we value individualism. We always have. It is part of the core DNA of this country. It is individualism. Your right to be and act as an
melting
individual.
pot. The whole part of melting pot is melting. When something melts, it melds together, and it's about the sum of the parts, not the individual. I totally disagree with you. Okay. But this is also a host way of thinking, and that's fine. No, that's fine. You're the host. You should think that way.
Okay, then
this all comes back to the fact that Tiger needs to go away.
In my opinion, one of the core tenets of this country is individualism. One of its strands of DNA is individualism.
You do have the freedom to be an individual, yes, and
we celebrate that. Do we not?
Some people celebrate that. When you say we, you always do it in a collective way that means that you think you're speaking for the majority. You might be. I don't know. I don't know the majority. I don't think you do either. We can only go by how people react.
I don't know. I'm going to say, no. We fought a war to allow us to act as individuals. So
if we want to act as an individual.
Yes, that is individualism. We fought a war for it.
A lot of people out there only want to be followers.
Okay. So let me drive what I'm driving at here. You don't have to like it, but as the guy who sees the algorithm that controls what gets on your TV and on your computer screens, as the guy who literally watches the algorithm work, articles about stars get clicked on, articles about teams don't. We just had it proven again. Caitlin Clark was the #1 most clicked on, viewed, read about, followed, watched, discussed superstar in college basketball, even though there was a 38-0 national championship team that did not have a superstar on it. Got a lot of great players, but no superstar. We value superstars. So yes, we value Tiger Woods. And all of this would be fine, except Tiger's T17 alongside Thorbjorn Olesen, by the way, who is also -1 and T17. This man is the biggest superstar in the history of his sport. In its entire history. The biggest superstar of it, hands down, no questions, no debate accepted. So if he is going to keep being competitive, now look, if he goes out here and in round 3 he ends up 8 over, then yeah, I might say it's time to hang up the spikes.
What would recent history make you think he's going to do?
I have no idea. Last year, he was in a good spot until his ankle stopped working in the rain.
Right. So recent history, because of his body, because of his age, would have you believe that he's not going to make the cut. If he does, great. I mean, good for him. But he's not going to win the thing, though.
For the record, I literally have money on him making the cut. He's gonna make the cut.
Okay.
Making the cut's not a question.
So you actually bet with your heart. I thought you weren't supposed to do that.
I did not.
Dude, that's your guy. You've been so worked up for the last 15 minutes because of your guy.
Last year, this dude went through 7 tournaments before he got to Augusta. This year, he hasn't played in weeks to be ready for this. We'll talk more about it later on in the show. We got to run to a break. Robin Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Mike, Steven, what's up, fellas? No, I take it back, Steven. Not good morning to you. You get ungood morninged.
It's pretty mean towards a guy who sends him donuts. I mean,
He just told you to cue the baby.
Which is how the morning starts.
He met the crying baby while I was talking.
No. Look at what time. We had just started.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. I'll take it back. You're good morning to Steven.
Was that on your laptop?
No, it was like right on the corner of it. It was like a drop, but I wasn't going to risk it.
Okay. I mean, Chris is here. He might have some sort of solvent or something. I don't know.
Solvent.
Scapegoat t-shirts are sold out. I need to get me one of those.
Oh. You know, I wasn't going to hang on this, but I have to come back to it for just a second. You don't have to like it, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a world that is dictated by algorithms. Welcome to 2024.
And the algorithm says that there's no way he can let it go and he had to come back to
Correct. 100%. My internal algorithm fired there. We've pointed this out before. That if you go look at Lonzo's Twitter feed, it's going to be a heck of a lot of wrestling and nerd pop culture, a lot of comic book stuff, animated TV shows, anime, et cetera, et cetera. If you go look at mine, it's going to be a lot of wrestling stuff, but it's also going to be a ton of sports and a lot of science stuff.
So you're saying I don't have sports? I'm
not saying you don't.
And I do, because, all right, fine.
What I'm saying is your everything is tracked, monitored, logged. And unless you're going to go full mountain man off the grid, every time you do a thing, it is recognized, noted, tracked. It's to the point now where I don't even worry about it anymore. Because unless you're going to go, up into the mountains and collect water via rain barrel and destroy everything that requires a wire to run in your life, you cannot get off the grid. Everything you do is tracked, monitored, logged, followed, and it is done so that stuff can be put in front of you that you will react to.
So now I'm just looking at all the different sports on here that you kind of said wasn't on here, but that's fine. Yeah.
The reality of your life, and this is true of your sports coverage as well, is tracked, it's logged, it's monitored, and it's replicated. So if you go click on wrestling stories, wrestling ads are going to show up in your social media. You don't believe me? Do a test. Go on your social media today, scroll around, and find an ad for something that you've never been interested in your life. Click on it, and then watch as that populates more in your feed until you ignore them for a while, and it'll fall back off. That's the world.
Hey, did you know that Dorman has new helmets?
I did not know that.
That popped on my feed that doesn't have sports on it.
Okay.
But you go.
Why do you think I'm just beating the hell out of you today?
Because you are.
I am not.
What's the opposite of idealism? It's not reality. It's not. What's the opposite of idealism? Because whatever that is, that's what you are. And
pragmatism.
Pragmatism. Yeah. Pragmatism is a word. The other thing, I don't know what that was.
But yes, I am a realist. So here's the other aspect of this. While this is true on an individual scale to your life, again, don't believe me, do the experiment. Get on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever your social media of choice is and click on an ad. Go find a post you would never ordinarily interact with. Click on it. And then watch as that thing populates in front of you, and then don't click on those things, then eventually it'll follow back off. That is true for the individual. It is also true for the masses. The folks who decide what goes on the front page of a website, a national website, the folks who decide what story is the first on ESPN and Fox Sports and CBS Sports and whatever, the folks who make those decisions, they ain't really folks. It's a computer. And they go, okay, when we talk about Caitlin Clark, we get 1 million clicks. And when we talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks, we get 500,000 clicks. It was a big fight the night of the national championship game online because CNN put up an article about the women's championship game. And that article said, South Carolina wins national championship, defeats Caitlin Clark in final college basketball game. And you know on Twitter how they don't have links anymore. They have a picture and you click on the picture to go to the site. The picture was Caitlin Clark. And there was a million people responding to that going, this is the problem. South Carolina won. South Carolina went 38-0. South Carolina has a lot of young ladies led by an admirable coach in Dawn Staley that just accomplished something that only, 4 other programs in history have done? Although one of them's done it 6 times.
Let's say I wouldn't know because I only have wrestling and video games.
They did something only, I think, 4 other programs in the history of women's college basketball have done. And the link talks about Caitlin Clark. The picture is of Caitlin Clark. And the fight was, why are you not promoting South Carolina? And the answer is very simple. Because Caitlin Clark gets more reaction. That's it. End of discussion. There is nothing else. That's the reason. Because if they put up 2 links, and one of those links says South Carolina defeats Caitlin Clark, sends her into the WNBA on an L, and the other says Dawn Staley and Camila Cardoso win national championship, go 38-0. America's clicking on Caitlin Clark because we value the superstar over the team. It's very easy for all of us to slip into my, no, look how real an idealist I am. I'm a team first guy. That's fine. You can say that. But as somebody who has played this game for a very long time, as somebody who looks at the click numbers, I am telling you that is untrue. As a whole, as a populace, we do not get in line behind great teams. We get in line behind superstars. Let's look at the NBA for a minute. Let's talk about the NBA for a second.
By the way, I'm not trying to, but the NBA is full of individuals. So this is the easy way to prove your point is just go to the NBA because there are not, I think there are people who follow individuals in the NBA and they don't follow teams.
There are in the NBA right now 4 teams.
Why didn't you go to soccer?
I could do that too.
Which is on my feed right now. There's some baseball.
There are in the National Basketball Association, there are 4 teams that have won 55 or more games. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics have won 62 games. They have lost 18. They are 35-4 at home after giving one back to the Knicks. What's everybody talking about right now when it comes to the NBA play-in/playoff? What's everybody talking about? Oh, the Warriors and the Lakers are 9-10. They're full. Why? Why are we talking about that? Because the 2 biggest stars in basketball are LeBron James and Steph Curry. That's why. That's why. You got Nikola Jokic, 3-time MVP, but let's be real. Compared to LeBron and Steph Curry, Nikola Jokic, unless you like big man bully basketball, is a boring superstar.
All right. He just wants to go home. I mean.
He's a boring superstar.
I love boring?
Him. For the record, I will go to war for that, man. I love Nikola Jokic.
As of 20 minutes ago, I want to go home. So, I mean,
We made it 14 minutes. He's a boring superstar. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, good player for the Oklahoma City Thunder, has not yet ascended into superstardom, though I think he is on his way. The Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards has carried – let's talk about Anthony Edwards for a second. Anthony Edwards watched Karl Anthony Towns go down to an injury. Me, Mario, Decker, Ryan, Nick, Trista, pretty much the whole BetQL network, all immediately were like, yo, put that money down on the T-Wolves not to make the playoffs, maybe a play-in team, not without Big Cat. Anthony Edwards has dragged this team to a 55-win record. They are level with the Thunder for the 2 seed in the West. Anthony Edwards has been bananas making this team competitive in the Western Conference. Who's talking about the Timberwolves? We're talking about the Lakers. We're talking about the Warriors. We're not talking about the Kings, who are in the exact same position, who have the exact same record as the Warriors and the Lakers. We're talking about the Warriors and the Lakers, the 9 and the 10 seed. 2 teams that I'm not entirely sure win their play-in game, even if they make it. But that's who we're talking about. Why? Because overall, by and large, we value individualism, and that translates to our sports. And again, if I could show you the numbers, it happens on this website, on our website as a fact. If I was to go today and I was to post 2 articles, one of them says, here's a wrap-up of Clemson's spring game. And I posted another one that said, Cade Klubnik comes up shy in spring game. Which one do you think people are clicking on? You don't need to. I can tell you. It's Cade.
Well, the Clemson fans will be not clicking on that one. They'll be clicking on the one that's more positive for them.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Okay, because I would like to think that they're a positive fan base and they want to hear positive things about their team. They don't want to hear the negative stuff. And that's why they're going to click on the thing that looks more positive.
Historically, in my anecdotal experience, and you will have to take my word on this because it is anecdotal. In my anecdotal experience, negativity leads and individualism leads. There is a saying in the newsroom. I used to get very frustrated at this. I'll tell you what.
You're not about to quote dirty laundry, are you?
No.
Okay.
But it might as well be, because there is a phrase amongst that has been in newsrooms
I heard that
forever.
on the way to work this morning. Get the widow on the set.
Old Don Henley. There is a phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. And that is a very popular expression in newsrooms and has been for 100 years. If it bleeds, it leads. Negativity and individualism go first. Turn it into your local news tonight. What's the lead story every night? A car crash took the life of a single mother in whatever. It's like, is this the biggest story going on right now? Like, that's sad. I hate it for that lady and her family.
I don't need to turn on the local news tonight because I can get my news from News Talk WORD.
Who also subscribe to If It Bleeds, It Leads. I'm not saying that in a bad way. That's every news channel. If it bleeds, it leads. That's what we like. We like individualism and we like negativity. Welcome to America. It is what it is. I'm over it. I don't care anymore. That's what we do. So part of the reason that Tiger is the story of Augusta is not just because you said earlier it's because of guys like me that want to see our guy.
I hope my head didn't move like that when I said it. It might have, though.
It didn't. I'm being dramatic. You said it's guys like you who grew up with this guy and you want to see your guy, blah, 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 blah. We are half of the equation. You know what the other half is? The people that are following, salivating over the collapse of Tiger Woods. It is the people who are checking in to go, I hope he misses the cut.
See, I get what you're saying, but the collapse happened a long time ago. We're seeing a guy whose body is broken down, who's did some things that he should not have done, got some DUIs and things like that, trying to recover from major problems. Probably he is lucky to still be walking. And as someone who has broken things on their body, as you get older, it starts to wear down. When the golf club went through his windshield, when all the stuff came out and then the decline happened, that was it. He hasn't been the same since then. He's just been a guy who used to win. And he wins the tournament every once in a while, but they're usually like his tournament, right? So, I mean, I get it. It's your guy. You want him to win. And you know what? And I absolutely mean this. I hope he wins just because you get to see him win another one, because it would make you happy.
Me too.
I don't believe it's going to happen now.
Me too. I'm very excited about it. I absolutely hope it happens. I'm pulling for the guy. Here's what I'll go with. Yes, there are a lot of Rob Browns out there that are pulling for this guy, that want to see him get one more, for sure. There is also another equally, if not larger group of people that aren't just saying he can't do it, but are actively hoping he does not, that are waiting for, that are pulling for the demise. And as I pointed out on the show yesterday, if you click an article because you love Tiger and then you click an article because you hate Tiger, those 2 clicks are 2 clicks. It's not a report where they go, this many people left a comment that said smiley face 100 emoji, and this many people left a comment that said cap emoji. No. It just says 2 people clicked, 2 people left a comment. That's it. That's all that matters. The algorithm dictates what you see. So if you get mad at the fact that Tiger's on TV again, just recognize it is because when the camera's on Eldrick, the numbers go up.
See, and that's the problem. All right. Tiger got everybody to watch golf, got me to watch golf too. It was interesting. You can't find that next guy that's going to get those fringe people or people who are not interested in golf to come and watch your product if that guy's still there.
There are 90 guys on the golf course. 90.
No, I think there's
90.
Only 72.
Whatever. There's 90 guys. Okay, there's 72. There's more than 50 golfers that teed off yesterday.
I saw that on my feed. That's how I know.
There are a metric bleep load of golfers on the golf course. It just takes one. It just takes one. It takes one to spark something. It takes one. Tiger. Nobody was watching golf before Tiger. You just said it, right? Let's go with that. That's true.
What I was talking about is people who were uninterested in golf, like myself, were willing to tune in because of what he was doing.
So it can be done.
Yes.
Okay.
But you've got to move on to find the next guy. It's hard to be the next guy when that guy who used to be the guy is still there and still getting the shine.
Mahomes to be the guy? No.
It's
no.
That's a team sport, and this is an individual sport.
Tiger does not need to get out of the way for the next guy that has not just the game, but the charisma and the team around him. I'm not talking golfers. I'm talking PR and marketing and all that. Tiger doesn't need to leave for the next guy to take over. The problem is there ain't that guy yet. And it ain't because Tiger is around. It's because there ain't that guy yet. There just ain't. There's a lot of guys that are really good golfers. Bryson DeChambeau went 7 under yesterday. You want to talk about a bounce back story? And I do want to talk about him later on in the show. A dude that I hated 3 years ago. Yesterday, I found myself rooting for. There's guys that can do it. There's nobody that has. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Do you have a bathroom break time here?
You do. I don't know. How do you spell y'all? Because, according to autocorrect. Okay, I'm going to go with hyphenated. Just what I was going to, not hyphenated, but that's a quotation thingy. I'm currently watching Joker tossing Aaron Gordon a reverse slam on my feed. By the way,
You're currently watching what now?
The Joker.
Joker.
I'm talking basketball. I don't know why you keep going back to comic books for, because I'm looking at my sports feed. I also watched them repair a tarmac, which is not comic book or video game related. There's a picture of Dr. Britt Baker, which is
I saw her photo shoot.
Yeah. Why is she not wrestling?
Friend of the show, Dr. Britt Baker, DMT.
And there's a thing about a jeweler whose son was murdered. I don't know why that's on my feed when it's supposed to be just. There's a monorail that looks really cool.
Is it the Vegas monorail?
The Wuhan monorail. It's like underneath the bridge. It's really cool looking. So the rail is on top. It's not on the bottom. So it's almost like it's a
of the train. So like it hangs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and it's blue. It's all blue lit.
The Rob Brown Show carries on. It is the Fan Upstate. Yesterday, we talked about J.J. McCarthy on the show. I told you guys that I had got the opportunity to interview Baldy on Wednesday. And he told me that there is smoke around the NFL right now that J.J. McCarthy might come off the board before Drake May. And we talked a little bit about this. And we talked a little bit about the fact that Baldy thinks this guy is a potential top 5 pick. And we talked about how I don't get it. Lonzo doesn't get it. And as much as the last 47 minutes of this show have gone, the fact that we're on the same page about this says there must be something to it. So yesterday afternoon, because I am a masochist, as I was watching the Masters, I decided to go do a little film review. I was like, let me go watch a couple of Michigan games on fast forward from this year. Let me rewatch J.J. McCarthy. I thought to myself, maybe, because, my memory stinks.
Should have called your guy. He could have helped you break it down. Mark Ryan.
Big Michigan guy.
Big Michigan guy.
Big Michigan guy.
Could have helped you out.
Should have called him.
He told us he's going to be covering them very closely.
I was watching some film work yesterday because, again, tape don't lie. And I thought, all right, it's been a little while since Michigan played. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I missed something. Again, I'm not a scout. I'm not a NFL quarterbacks coach, but maybe there's something to this. So I went back and I looked at a couple of different aspects of J.J. McCarthy's game. And I graded out some different qualities of this guy. One of the first ones that I wanted to take a look at was the footwork of J.J. McCarthy, because footwork is the foundation at the NFL for everything else that a quarterback's got to do. One of the things that is very low-key, but something that I was very glad to hear when Dave Canales got hired, when they asked him what his plan is for Bryce Young, I played you that audio. The thing that jumped out to me was where Dave Canales started. The first thing he said, we got to go back. We got to make sure that not only are we working on Bryce to develop these things, but that we figure out what he is the best at so we can cater to that. And the first thing he brought up was footwork. I love that. Good. Because I don't care how good you are at anything, there is always room for improvement. So I went back and looked at this guy. The footwork is pretty good for J.J. McCarthy. Surprisingly good, to be honest with you. He's very confident. He's very sure-footed. He is willing to stand in the pocket in the face of pressure. He does not dance around when he knows he's going to get hit. I went back and I watched the Ohio State game. Ohio State was running a lot of stunts and a lot of secondary pressures. They were having defensive linemen crossover, one under, one over the top. They were bringing extra pressure, and his offensive line very frequently was letting them get to JJ, and JJ was standing in the pocket and throwing the ball. And I appreciated that. But I will tell you one thing I did notice. While he was confident in the footwork, he would regularly, if the pocket collapsed as a whole. In the face of a rusher, J.J. McCarthy was fine. When the pocket collapsed around J.J. McCarthy, that's when he got panicky. Well, I got news for you about the NFL. It's going to happen a lot of times. Second thing I want to look at is mechanics. I want to look at what a guy looks like when he's going to drive the football down the field. I'm talking about when a guy's got time in the pocket and when it's time for him to stand in that pocket to press off that back foot and to put some A behind the football and drive it down the field. This is where he lost me a little bit. J.J. McCarthy does something that young quarterbacks do. Instead of driving with the back leg, a system which should have less weight, your front leg should be sliding across the ground. He transfers his weight. When he throws, it goes from the back leg onto the front leg. So he kind of rounds off at the top of that motion. What I'm looking for is driving off the back foot. That front foot should almost slide across the turf, and the weight should not transfer to that foot until the football's gone. JJ is putting the weight on that front foot as he's throwing the ball, which takes gas off the football. That's not great. J.J. McCarthy can place the ball exceptionally well, but he doesn't drive the ball. And if you're trying to get the ball down the field, you've got to drive the football. And I will acknowledge that some of this is nitpicky, or at least it's going to sound that way. It's not nitpicky. These are the things that are the difference between a bad quarterback and a good quarterback and a great quarterback. I watched probably 150 passes of J.J. McCarthy yesterday between 5-6 different games. I don't understand.
No wonder you want to fight today and to see the ugly helmet for all that time.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand how this J.J. McCarthy hype train is picking up steam the way it is leading up into the draft. It's to the point, I have believed for years that I think there's a lot of people within the NFL circle that just listen to what the other NFL people say. Like, this has got to be the biggest smokescreen in the game, right? This has got to be one guy somewhere was trying to convince somebody else to take JJ and leave another player on the board, and then it just got carried away because I don't get it. Texter said JJ will be a star in the NFL. As what? A broadcaster? As a TV guy?
We do have Michigan people who listen.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
Good for them being behind their guy.
Hey, I appreciate that, I guess. It's top of the hour. We got to take a break. When we come back, water cooler cheat sheet, top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports. Before we get to that, though, Lonzo about to dazzle you with yet another A+ 5 of 5 sports flash.
I'm actually shooting for C-. Kentucky asked a number of big names to replace John Calipari as their head basketball coach and got a number of no's. But yesterday, they finally named their new head coach in BYU's Mark Pope. Pope, a 1996 graduate of Kentucky, is set to sign a 5-year deal after leading BYU to a 110-52 record and 2 NCAA tournament appearances in 5 years, but with no tournament wins. Day 1 of the Masters tournament is in the books, and Live Tour veteran Bryson DeChambeau holds a solo lead after shooting a 7-under 65, one shot better than odds-on favorite Scottie Scheffler, 66. Weather delayed the start of round 1, meaning 27 golfers, including Tiger Woods, who sits at 1 under, and Max Homa at 4 under, will finish round 1 early this morning. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for a brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel have a lot of fun. Yeah, well, took too long reading the golf thing.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773 Network. That's AmericanEagle.com 773 Network.
Started the daggum picking process. Should have got rid of that. Oh, well.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hour numero dos of the Rob Brown Show begins right this very second. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that eventually ends at, as a matter of fact, it ends at 10 a.m. That's when Lonzo and I are going to head to the Fortress of Nerditude, knock out our administrative work, and call it a day. But between here and there, 3 more hours of sports talk excellence comes your way. My name is Rob Brown, the great Lonzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass. This AM, pushing the button, switching the switches that make us sound as incredible as we do each and every single morning. If you ask me, and probably not many other people, but we are good to go for hour 2.
I beg to differ. The South Carolina Broadcasters Association also begs to differ.
As Sally Fields once said, you like us, you really like us.
Reigning, defending,
undisputed. I think. I don't know if I'm sure it's quite disputed, but it's all good.
That's the fun part. That's what keeps you hungry. To hate us.
Oh, you gotta wait.
The haters. They like to drink their haterade and eat their hater tots. Haters, man.
You know the haters are real. They are. We got a lot to get to in this hour of the show. We got to get back to the Masters as Eldrick Tiger Woods set to take off. He's still got to finish round 1. Got through 13 holes yesterday. 1 under on the day is good for T17, along with America's favorite golfer, Thorbjorn Olesen.
Man, he looks old.
The
dude. Thunder
Bear.
Dude, I'm not that. He looks really old.
My guy, I don't mean to be rude. He's got you by years and dude's yoked. If that's what old looks like, I hope I age gracefully.
Hey, that's fine.
He is
I mean,
yoked.
you don't need to attack me. I'm just saying he looks really old.
I was gonna say, I hope I look at that good 10 years from now. I don't look that good 10 years before that. I should probably go to the gym today.
No, you look fine. He looks pretty old. And
I mean,
he doesn't look right without the Nike symbol on either.
I will say that is odd. That is odd with his new Tiger.
Is he wearing glasses? That's my imagination.
No. Got the puffy vest on. Got the Marty McFly vest on today though.
Yeah, you got to keep your core warm.
It's chilly this morning, man.
when you get older, you got to keep that core.
I had to go with the waffle hoodie today. It's chilly outside.
What, waffle?
Yeah, it's like a waffle.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
All right. I don't.
It's chilly out.
Didn't know they called it that.
I mean, he's 48 years old. Of course, he's got to keep the core engaged. He's out there on the practice range right now. Tiger will take off at 8 a.m. along with the 27 guys who did not finish yesterday's first round. And then at 10 a.m., we will start round number 2. That is early enough in the day that theoretically they should be able to finish up round 2 today. Round 2 probably going to be more challenging than what am I doing? It's this is all part of the water cooler cheat sheet. The top 3 sports stories you need to know when you get to the office and start talking sports. You're going to talk about these things.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
It is the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports with your coworkers when you take that first break at 8:08 or whatever time it is that you are just over it because it's Friday and, you don't want to be there, which is understandable. Let us begin, ladies and gentlemen, with item number 1. As I was briefly getting to there before I realized that it is 7 o'clock and time to do the water cooler cheat sheet, the Masters underway at Augusta National Golf Course. Round 1 mostly completed yesterday. There are 27 golfers, including one Eldrick Tiger Woods, that do have to go finish their initial round today. Tiger made it through 13, got a start on 14, play the back 4, 5 numbers. How do they work? Before he goes back out just before 4 p.m. to try to get round number 2 wrapped up in a day. That means, of course, that Tiger will be playing 23 holes today of golf. Going to be a big question about whether the ankle will hold up for him. We're going to keep an eye on that throughout the day and obviously throughout the weekend. As the leaderboard goes through round number 1, Bryson DeChambeau is your clubhouse leader, and he stands alone at the top of the leaderboard. Bryson DeChambeau turned in a 7 under 65, had a chance at a 64. There have been, if I recall correctly, I think only six rounds of a 64 in the opening round of the Masters. DeChambeau had a long birdie putt to try to hit that mark, came up just a couple of inches off, tapped in to walk off a 65. He leads the odds-on favorite, a 3-1 betting favorite in Scotty Scheffler, who carded a 6 under 66 yesterday on Augusta National. Real interesting round from Scotty Scheffler. There was never a point in that round where you watched Scotty Scheffler hit a shot that made it feel like he was playing incredible golf. And that says more about Scotty Scheffler than it does anything else. This dude is hitting the ball so well that playing 66 golf, 6 under golf at Augusta National just looks easy. I mean, that's where this cat is. And yet he checked in behind Bryson DeChambeau. Some of the other names on the list as we speak. Max Homa still has to finish up his first round. He is in a group with Tiger, got 13 holes done yesterday, but he is 4 under as of right now, T4, along with a number of other players, including Danny Willett, who is at 4 under. Let's see. Hatton is 4 under. Will Zalatoris, 2 under. Neiman, 2 under. Patrick Reed, 2 under. Aberg is 2 under as well. Tommy Fleetwood and that glorious mane that he rocks on the course, 2 under. All those guys tied at T9. At T17, a bunch of guys knotted up at 1 under on the day. Van Rooyen, Olesen, Thorbjorn the Thunder Bear Van Olsen is 1 under. Lucas Glover, Tony Finau, Cantlay, Fitzpatrick, Rory, McIlroy, Hovland, all at 1 under. Smith at 1 under, and 1 amateur, Neil Shipley, finds himself at 1 under as well. All of those guys are T17. Sergio is at even. Thomas Schauffele, Lowry, Shank, Day, Harmon, Koepka, and Kim all at even. Lefty, Phil Mickelson, all those guys at even. By the way, T32. T42 is where you find Phil Mickelson at +1. Henley, defending champion John Rahm, is 1 over. Clark, Rose, Cole, Bubba Watson, all T42 at 1 over. So is Adam Scott, the Gala, DJ, Columbia's own, at 1 over. Colin Morikawa in that group as well. At 2 over or worse, some notables. T54, Charles Schwartzel is down there. Camilo Villegas is at 2 over. Weir is at 2 over. Spieth is at 2 over. Singh is at 3 over. Im is at 3 over. Sergio De La Fuente is at 4 over. T75 along with Zach Johnson, Ricky Fowler, Hideki Matsuyama is at 4 over. Jose Maria Olazabal is at 5 over. T82 Dunlap is at T82 at 5 over. Freddie Couples at 8 over is 87, and that's where we stand right now on the leaderboard at the Masters. Again, Tiger in the game will tee off at 8 a.m. today. Once they start to wrap up, then we will send out the round 2 morning tee times at around 10:30 this morning. Obviously, Lonzo and I will be like at home taking a nap by that point. But you can go home and watch the Masters. You have my full and entire permission. Let's get to item number 2. Orenthal James O.J. Simpson, passing away after a fight with cancer yesterday at 76 years of age, leaves behind a very complicated legacy. Of course, his time at USC, his time across the National Football League made him an American football icon. Of course, then he went into acting, had comedy chops in acting for many years, did OJ, him too, did O.J. Simpson. But then, of course, there was everything else. There was being connected to the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson. There was the armed robbery that took place in a Las Vegas casino hotel room. There was a lot to a very complicated legacy left behind by O.J. Simpson. What is your thoughts on the legacy this guy leaves behind? Because on one hand, as an athlete, he was obviously one of the most notorious and recognizable football players of all time. On the flip side, O.J. did a lot of not great stuff afterwards. O.J. did some stuff afterwards with at least the hotel room incident for which he was convicted. That is real bad. And then, of course, there is the murder rap. There is the fact that he was a suspect in the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and her husband. There was the fact that 30 years ago to the day that O.J. passed away, I don't know how many of you remember it. I'm sure many of you. They broke into the NBA Finals because O.J. Simpson was leading cops on some speed chase in the white Bronco.
It was like 35 miles an hour or something like that. It was, yeah.
I remember that very well. I was only, I think 9 years old at the time. But I remember that. I remember them breaking into the NBA Finals for it. I remember it being a huge story. I remember the murder trial itself. Judge Ito was his name, if I recall correctly, who presided over that trial. I remember the glove. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Yet they had O.J. tying on in the courtroom an almost surgical glove over another glove, a set of gloves that had been soaked in blood, which of course contracts leather. I remember the celebrations amongst some and the disappointment amongst others. I remember learning that it wasn't so much the celebrations amongst the African-American community. It wasn't so much that O.J. got off the hook as it was that they believed for the first time that the legal system treated an African-American with equal standing, that it wasn't a quick, easy conviction, that there was a very lengthy, difficult, intense trial to arrive at the conclusion. It wasn't a celebration that O.J. was found not guilty. It was a celebration that the legal system actually allowed due process to play out. And despite the fact that, if you feel a certain way, despite the fact that after mistakes were made by the prosecution, which is part of the legal process, a black man in high standing was exonerated, rightfully or not, in a legal system, in a legal trial that many people felt was one of the first to actually be fair. It was a interesting time that O.J. Simpson and the murder trial brought into light. And of course, you juxtapose that with the icon status that he reached as a football player. Like I said, very, very interesting legacy left behind by one O.J. Simpson, passing away after a battle with cancer yesterday at 76 years of age. Want your thoughts on that? We will talk more about that later on in the radio broadcast. Let's get to item number 3. Before I get to this, let me say, I don't think this is happening. I don't think it's reality. I don't think that it can happen. I assuredly do not think that it will happen. but it's still fun to talk about. And if you're not watching the live stream right now at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or by searching The Rob Brown Show on YouTube and Twitch, you might want to do it right now. I'm not going to tell you why. I'll let you come find out. Yesterday on the Deep Cuts podcast, the GOAT said he's open to coming back. Tom Brady was on the Deep Cut podcast that released yesterday. He was asked by the host of that podcast, a gentleman by the name of Vic Blends, whether he would pick up the phone in the event of an injury to come back and run QB one more time. Brady said, quote, "I'm not opposed to it." He said, "I don't know if they're going to let me if I become an owner of an NFL team. I'm always going to be in good shape. I will always be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit, like MJ coming back, I don't know if they would let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it," end quote.
Not news. He had the same attitude last year when all the quarterbacks, just about all of the quarterbacks got hurt and no one called him. So, I mean, this is a, hey, remember me? If you need me, although everyone did remember him last year and no one called him. So, I mean,
Let's start with this. Tommy touchdowns.
He's what, like 45 now? I mean,
Tommy Boy ain't coming back if it ain't for a ring, okay? If Derek Carr goes down, if Bryce Young goes down, he ain't coming back to those teams. Tommy touchdowns is coming back if Brock Purdy goes down, if Lamar Jackson comes down. Can I tell you the fever dream reality that I don't think I can try hard enough to manifest into reality? Tom Brady comes back after a Mahomes injury and carries the Chiefs to a Super Bowl.
yeah.
Would be the greatest day of my life.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And something else that you said was the most far-fetched of anything said today would be if Lamar goes down, they would because that team would have to revamp everything to bring in Tom Brady. San Francisco, that makes sense. But Baltimore, no way.
So let me ask you this right now. Genuine question. I brought this up to kind of have some fun with it, to just enjoy it. But let me ask you this question. You are the other Harbaugh right now. Lamar Jackson goes down. It's week 16. You got one more game. You are, let's say, the 2 seed in the AFC. You're going to have to play a wild card round, a divisional round, and a championship round to get there. Lamar Jackson goes down in week 16. Your options right now to play alongside Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Nelson Aguilar. Maybe Odell comes back, though I doubt it. But along with those guys, and Mark Andrews at the tight end spot, along comes Tom Brady. You have these options: Josh Johnson, Malik Cunningham, or Tom Brady. Who are you trotting out in week 17 and through the playoffs?
All right, here's the thing that you're not taking into account. They could also draft a quarterback.
But right now, they don't. So right now, today, in our hypothetical.
All right. I get your
Josh
hypothetical,
Johnson or Tom
but
Brady.
it's not right now. It's week 17.
That's
so
how
they will.
work.
But in reality, they will have drafted a quarterback.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lonzo knowing the answer is Tom Brady.
The
The
answer
answer
is
Tom Brady.
no, it's not, because they would not bring in a guy who doesn't fit the system.
So they're going to run Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
Tell me anything about Josh Johnson.
Whoever their backup is, the guy knows the system. You're not bringing in Brady. Like I said, San Francisco has a similar kind of offense that Brady could step into. If Baltimore asked him to come, he would not do it because he would know he couldn't function in that offense. I mean, just put all that hate stuff aside and talk about reality. Tom Brady's only going to come back in a situation where he can step in to on a team that he would be able to run. He could not run Baltimore's team.
First off, Jay could. Baltimore's not a running team.
There are a couple teams he would not fit into, and that is one of them. When a team is built around a mobile quarterback, whether he runs or not. There are plays or a lot of things that are put in because of the mobility of the quarterback. We know Tom Brady never mobile. So there is no way that it would work. Kansas City, yeah, he could go in and he could run that offense. They'd have to dumb it down a little bit for him, but he could run the offense.
Okay. Then let's shift the hypothetical. I disagree. Baltimore is not an offense predicated on Lamar running. It is an offense that is predicated on the pass in which Lamar can run.
By the way,
let's put
I
that
just
aside for a
said
minute.
he is a mobile quarterback. I didn't say running. He's a mobile quarterback. Tom Brady, not.
Let's put that aside for a moment. Let's talk about your team just for the lulz real quick, because this conversation is fun to me.
So when you get sleep, you just want to fight.
It's not a fight. It's a
Obviously,
genuine
I'm
question.
feeling a little bit better, or I would just be getting beat down today.
Genuine question.
You might actually think you're beating me down today, but I think the majority of the victories today have been mine.
Of course you think that. There's never been a day in your life you haven't thought that.
Dude, there was a song that was written about me. It's called Lonesome Loser. But anyway, go ahead.
Patrick Mahomes goes down. You have the option right now to lead just into the playoffs of Carson Wentz or Tom Brady. Who are you going with?
Whoever Andy Reid decides.
No.
And if
Who
Andy
are you
Reid,
going
if
with?
Andy, well, right now, I would, this moment couldn't happen because it's not in the NFL season.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, he knows the answer is Tom Brady. If you can trot out Tom Brady or Carson Wentz for the playoffs, the answer is Tom Brady. Even out of football for 2 years, the answer is
the answer is not Tom Brady. If Tom Brady was younger,
so the
possibly.
answer is Carson Wentz. You're going with Carson Wentz.
Yeah. I'll go with Carson Wentz because at that moment, going into the playoffs, Carson Wentz would have been in the system for an entire year. And he's an experienced quarterback, playoff experience. Went to the Super Bowl, didn't he, with Philadelphia?
Yep.
So it's not like you're going to get a guy in there who's green and has no idea what he's doing. But you bring someone in who doesn't know the system. What you're saying is you have no confidence in the people that you have. And we got to see a backup quarterback win last year in the system. So
Picking Tom Brady over Carson Wentz
again,
doesn't say anything
so,
about Carson
So you're
Wentz.
glossing over the fact
about Tom Brady.
Over the fact that I said Tom Brady would fit perfect in San Francisco.
No, I'm glancing over the fact that I think it's hilarious that you would go with him in San Francisco, but he's not good enough for the Chiefs. I disagree fundamentally.
Well, that's your opinion. These are hypotheticals. Hypotheticals means it's about opinions and not facts.
That's just like your opinion, man.
I mean, yes, everything we do is opinion. Of course,
that's not true. We also deal with facts too. We're not just about opinion.
If I'm Andy Reid and Patrick goes down in my quest for 3,
we're really late for break.
Tom Brady is getting the call over Carson Wentz. He's getting the call over Josh Dobbs in San Francisco. Absolutely, entirely, without a doubt. Texas said, of course the Chiefs would take Brady. Anyone would. Is Lonzo okay? Yeah, no, I know.
No. Lonzo realizes that Tom Brady's been out of football for 2 years, could barely move near the end of his career. And why would he come out of the booth after he just forced someone else out of the booth who was really, really good?
Could barely move. When he won a Super Bowl in Tampa. Barely moving.
How many years ago was that?
3.
Are you sure? Because you don't look certain.
You're making me question myself, which is not rare. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Dexter's probably that Michigan guy who thinks J.J. McCarthy's good too. Which would make sense that he would also be for Tom Brady as a Michigan guy. Just saying. Not conspiracy there, but it very well is probably right. By the way, all this is funny, but I had to root for Elvis Grbac. Okay. I mean, not only was he a Michigan quarterback, but Elvis Grbac was not good with the Chiefs. giving you nothing, moles. Sit there and enjoy the silence. Oh, I was going to do something. We don't have time. That sucks.
Baseball is back. Basketball is heating up, and the NFL draft is right around the corner. Listen to the latest on the teams you love with the free Odyssey app. The biggest sports radio stations in the country, providing unrivaled local coverage of your team, all in one place. Exclusive interviews with players, coaches, and team executives. Streaming live and always available on demand. Stay in the know with your favorite teams with Odyssey. AUTECY. Download the free Odyssey app today. Sponsored by Corley Plumbing and Electric.
Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric. We offer same-day scheduling to meet your needs. Call Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric today, or skip the line and book online. CorleyPro.com. That's CorleyPro.com.
How many people would you hit if you teed up on number 18 and it's showing how
dude,
close?
no, I would not even take the shot. I would kill someone. The driver's the only club in the bag I'm genuinely confident with, and I still wouldn't take that shot. All right, I have sports to get to, but I do have to ask this. You guys know that we share a text line with our sister station one door over. Don't panic. It's about food.
Wouldn't panic.
Don't
I was prepared to have to defend.
No need.
Okay, all right.
No need. It's a question. Today is apparently National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day.
Just want to point out, this isn't politics. Some people think that's all they talk about, but you go right ahead.
Today is National Grilled Cheese Day on Friday, April 12th, 2024. And they're obviously having that discussion right now, which, yes, that's what you do in radio. Sometimes you have something like that, you bring it up. And texters are now sending text to that station about their favorite way to prepare a grilled cheese. And I am totally good with that. That's important. When we talk about things like this and you guys send me suggestions, I have, as a matter of fact, on the tablet of truth, an entire document that is just food ideas that you have sent me, places to go, recipes to try, etc., etc. And every now and then, when your boy's hungry, he pulls that document, he tries something. Well, one just got added to the mix. A texter writing about National Grilled Cheese Day said jalapenos and Colby Jack cheese, fantastic. Absolutely.
Is it truly a grilled cheese if you were adding other things to it other than the bread and the cheese?
Yeah, I would say just like a burger's a burger when you put pickles, onions, lettuce, tomato on it. It's still a burger.
Okay, so as long as it's not meat.
I would say as long as it is a grilled cheese sandwich, the extra stuff, it is still grilled cheese.
Nah,
just
you can't,
with more stuff.
You can't put meat in there.
I'm fine with that if that's where we want to choose the line, but that's not the one that stood out to me. The one that stood out to me, because they're having that debate too, because apparently somebody just said, put turkey on your grilled cheese. And a texter said, I don't dare dispute you. However, as soon as you put turkey on it, it's no longer a grilled cheese, but a grilled turkey and cheese.
Yes, exactly.
All right, fine with that. Here's the text that got me. A texter said, before you close the bread, because you do the bread and butter on both sides, then you put the cheese in. Yeah, you butter. Yeah,
it depends on how you make it. Okay, all right.
Grilled cheese, you butter the hell out of the bread. You put butter in the pan. You put the bread in the pan to let the bread and the butter grill together. You put the cheese in one side. You put the other side on top. You let it cook. You flip it over.
You only single cheese.
Oh no, I put like 3 slices.
Let's go say the cheese is the star of that
stuff
thing.
Falling off.
There you go.
Texter said before you go closed face, right? So like once you put the cheese on one side, and then you're going to put the other slice on top, and then you're going to cook it, flip it, let it cook another few seconds before you go closed face sandwich. To slather on mayo and then close the mayo on top of the cheese inside the sandwich. And I will tell you that in the 39 years of my life, I've been eating grilled cheese because I have been eating grilled cheese as every good American has. Again, my entire life. I don't think once have I ever, nor have I ever considered slathering on the mayo during the cooking process or ... at all.
All right. I'm not a food snob, or I am a slob.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I am.
That,
but not a food snob. So if you want to put mayo on it, put mayo on it. I don't care.
No. I'm not against it.
Is because it's hot? Does that bother you? That's
I don't know.
Up?
Again, it's like many other foods in that sometimes you hear a combination that you just go, that doesn't sound like it works. Now, I will also tell you, I am the dude when it comes to food. I will try anything once. I'll try anything once. I've had cricket. I've had, if you can think it, there's one exception, which is I will not eat liver. I can't do it.
Not even chicken liver?
Nope.
You haven't tried chicken liver?
Nope. Can't eat liver. Cow liver, chicken liver, pig liver. Can't do it. Nice Chianti involved or not. Can't do liver. I don't know why. That's my hang up. I've eaten just about everything else. I'm good with all of it.
When you're extremely poor and your mom makes it for you, you go, yeah, give me some liver.
Well, then I thank the universe and all its applicable forces that I was never poor, because it just feels gross. I know what a liver does. It's the dirtiest thing inside of you, okay? And that's true of everything that has a liver. So I can't do liver. Respectfully to those, my dad
not even
loved liver
even,
and onions.
Not even liver mush.
Nope. My dad loved liver and onions. It was like his go-to thing.
Did you ever ask him why? I mean,
he just loved it.
As a science guy, did you go to him and say, hey, Dad, this, what this does? Why
It wouldn't have mattered. That was his thing. Like if it was Dad's birthday and it was whatever Bob Brown Jr. wanted for dinner, we were having liver and onions. By we, I mean they, and I was going to bed hungry. All right. I couldn't do it as a kid, can't do it now.
You didn't have to sit at the table till you finished your food, but you were sitting there for like 3 days straight. And
I would have been. I would have sat there until I fell out of the chair.
Ain't nobody surprised.
So with that, again, I'll eat anything else. All right. Anything else? I have never, it is not that I am against it. I just have never had mayo introduced to a grilled cheese sandwich,
All right,
and
all
it
right.
doesn't
Have you had mayo?
sound.
Have you had mayo on a cheeseburger before?
Yes.
So you just take the hamburger out.
I
mean, that's
again,
basically what it is.
I
mean,
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's just it's something that jumps out at me as it doesn't click. Right now, we've already look at this. I got like 3 texts this whole show. I got 7 in the last 2 minutes. Texter says mayo. Bobby texts the show said mayo is amazing on grilled cheese.
I was going to say it doesn't bother me. It sounds fine.
It's again, I don't know that. I don't know what this
I will say
reaction is.
when I have a hankering for grilled cheese, I want to taste the cheese. I think it's more about the hot melty cheese than it is introducing something else. But if I was at someone's house and they made it and they put mayo on it, I'd be like, okay.
Texture said mayo is amazing on grilled cheese. Texture said mayo on outside is better than butter. Texture said I use mayo instead of butter on grilled cheese. Also, I like bacon on my grilled cheese. I'm 100% fine with that.
But then it's not
bacon on the grilled cheese.
Once you introduce meat, it's no longer about the cheese.
Texture said pineapple and mayo sandwich, Southern heaven. Pineapple and mayo.
Do you toast that? Because is the pineapple, is it fresh pineapple or is it out of a can? Because I would think the juice would mess with the bread if it's not toasted.
Texture said mayo helps toast the bread. See, again, for the record, I'm not pushing back on that. What I'm saying is, to me, butter to toast the bread is just the way, and you know me, I'm not this is the way it's done, therefore that's the way it's done, nothing's better. It's just that I've assumed, as butter has been the only way I've ever seen it done, that's the best way to do it.
By the way, you can do it without any sort of cooking oil or butter if you have a sandwich maker, because you can just put it in a sandwich maker and you've made a grilled cheese.
Yeah, but
seconds.
I want that melted butter taste.
So it's
in the bread.
it's about the butter more so than the cheese.
No, it's not. Butter
The cheese is a star here. I want to taste the cheese.
Correct, but butter is a supplement to it, right? I put butter on a lot of stuff. If I liked butter to be the star, I would just eat butter. But nobody just eat well. Some people eat butter. You need to stop, hit a treadmill. All right. Nobody just eats butter. But do I put melted butter on my lobster? You're damn right I do. When I make a steak, do I taste it?
What a 1%er thing to say.
It's not 1%.
Yes, it is. Do I put butter on my lobster? You bet I do.
I'm sorry if you haven't gotten to the point where you can cook lobster at your house.
I've had lobster before. It's
amazing.
It's not that good.
When I make shrimp, which I do frequently, do I baste it in butter? You're damn right. When I cook a steak at the house, when I pan sear a steak at the house, I baste it in butter. It is the go-to. You go on the cast iron with the steak. You season it up real good. You throw a ton of butter down in the bottom of the cast iron. You sear the steak. Then you let the steak cook. And as it's cooking, you take a spoon and you just constantly throw butter on top of it. Butter is a supplemental flavor, not a primary flavor. So butter to toast bread gives you a good, nice crust on that bread with some melted butter taste in the bread, but it does not take away from the flavor of the cheese. It adds to it. And again, I don't know the answer to this. This is a genuine question, not a smartastic question. Does mayo not burn? Do you go like, so is it put mayo on the bread, then toast the bread mayo side down, like you're actually cooking the mayo into the bread like you do with butter? Because it feels to me like that mayo would burn, but I've never done it before, so I don't know. I'm intrigued by this. I'm going to have to text Mike Stathakis on this one. I'm going to have to get with Stacks. Stacks is my go-to Southern food
All right.
guy.
I just Googled cooking with mayonnaise and I only got part, so people have looked it up. If you get part way, and it's one of the options, it can add moisture to a variety of baked goods, as well as add great texture and flavor to many other dishes that might surprise you. Use it on a grilled cheese. Number 1 on the thing.
See, again, I'm...
You're not going to like number 2. Mix it in chocolate cake. I told you.
Mix it in chocolate cake.
Mixed mayo and quiche. Yeah, that's fine.
Quiche is fine.
Use it to coat chicken. So that's another way of, so you're using it as a coating, as a base. Add it to cake mix, put it on corn, mix it in, I've had it in mashed potatoes before. Bake muffins with it. I mean, if you think about the base of mayonnaise, what's the base of it? It's eggs.
Yeah.
And people use eggs to coat things all the time.
Sure.
So
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. We just got 5 texts. It does burn. It does not burn. It doesn't burn. It doesn't burn. It does not burn. It does not burn.
You know, I'm
5
thinking
separate texts.
I'm thinking it probably doesn't burn.
Texture said garlic butter on steak is the best. I totally agree. That is one of the things that I would do. I will take the butter. I will melt the butter. I will put the butter in a bread process or in a food processor with a garlic clove or 2, and then just a little touch of pepper, blend it up, liquefy it, and then that's what I use to base the steak. And that's the way to go. But again, I've never used the mayo to cook. That's wild. Texture said mayonnaise and banana sandwich.
All right, they're just getting weird now.
I mean, I believe this one. See, now I'll say this. I'm a peanut butter and banana sandwich guy. What Southern Elvis-loving gentleman's not a peanut butter and banana sandwich guy?
Absolutely.
Love a peanut butter
Have
and
you
banana
had
sandwich.
peanut butter and banana with a little syrup on it, though?
I have not. And I honestly wouldn't hurt to try it. All right? I'll try anything. But I've never heard, I'm not saying bad, I've just never heard of a mayo grilled cheese sandwich. That seems, I don't know, over the top. Again, I do have a text, fired off a text to Stathakis. We'll see if he checks in. We'll see if we get a fire back from him about this. He's my go-to guy. But I've never heard of that before. I've just always been a butter on the bread guy.
You know, this sounds like something Cole would do. Putting mayonnaise on us. Yeah, it does.
For the record, I want you all to know, I'm trying it, okay? So if this is an elaborate prank, if there's like 4 of y'all going to work together and you're like, he'll never know, let's all 4 text him mayo on bread and screw with him. If my house burns down because mayo's flammable or something, it's on you because I'm going to try it now. I like mayo. I'm a mayo guy for sure. I just never heard of this before. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, got a few more sports stories we got to run through in this hour of the show. Did hear from Rashad, unfortunately, still on the weather, so he's not going to be able to join us on the show. We will catch back up with Rashad next week. Okay, Lonzo, Texture says Cole puts mayonnaise on corn. He admitted it on air. What?
Yeah, so you weren't paying attention when I
You
read
said that's something Cole would do.
No, when I read the list of things cooking with mayonnaise, corn was one of the things.
No, that's fine. Cole does that.
Right. So he looks like that kind of guy. That's the reason why I thought maybe he did. I just sent him a text to ask about the grilled cheese thing. I'm not asking Diesel. He don't do that. Come on.
I don't think Diesel eats mayo.
No, I don't think he eats anything that has crumbs because it would get in that beard.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Short break.
USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service. You can avoid all the noise. No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures. It's just easy.
Is mayonnaise an instrument? Anything's an instrument if you're brave enough.
To success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
From the Eagles Market Studio.
Texter said, oh God, we got a ton of text. Texter said, Diesel said on air this week he puts mayo on the outside of a grilled cheese. Again, I'm all in. Texter said, mayonnaise on corn with some spice is the elite Mexican dish. Is that what makes street corn street corn? Does mayo go on street? I'm a big street corn guy.
Could be.
I don't love corn, but I love street corn.
All right. I asked Cole, would you eat a grilled cheese with mayo? He says not preferably, but if it's the only option, yes.
See, I kind of feel like that's where I'm going to end up. Like I'm still going to like butter better, but I still might try. I might accept it as an alternative. Texter said Duke's Mayo just came out with a line of barbecue sauces, and there is a Carolina mustard one that I use on some smoked chicken. Dear God, all caps. Yeah, I'm trying that
Wow.
immediately.
The cult follower in you just almost had an orgasm. Or
Yeah,
maybe he did.
yeah, that sounds incredible. Quote, Diesel definitely eats mayo. He's basically a Duke's Mayo spokesperson. He's not. No, that's my gimmick. All right, that's my gimmick.
No,
You
that's
don't get to take that from me.
that started with Diesel, from what I understand. Yeah.
Mm,
And then you and Mark were brought into the cult.
into the cult.
Yes. Whereas I am not. I recognize the cult. I'm on the outside trying to help you people get out. If you want out, you contact me. I'll help you get out of the Duke cult. I can do that.
Texter said, mayo on grilled cheese. Yes. Mayo and chocolate cake batter. Yes. Makes it more moist. That's from Dale. Yeah. I guess I got some food experiments to do. Texter says Cole also admitted he dips Lay's potato chips in ketchup like a 12-year-old.
First of all, I think if you judge someone and say, you're not an adult, you sound less of an adult yourself. Do what you want to do with your food. I mean, don't sleep with it because that's weird. But if you eat it however you want to eat it, who cares? It all goes down the same.
Okay, let's go with this. First off, so you're admitting there is a line. We just got to find it.
Well, you don't want to be intimate with your food. Yeah. Yeah. You don't.
I know, I've had some pretty good chocolate cake.
Okay. All right.
I've had some pretty good cake. They made a whole movie called American Pie that revolved around one joke. So you never know. I am going to go with yes. I love Cole. That's my guy. Cole called me at 9:30 last night, and I wasn't even mad at him. That's how much I love Cole.
Wait, you answered the phone?
If you call me, I'll answer. If you text me, it's not a guarantee. You call me, I'll answer. Love Cole. Cole can call me at 9:30 night. Not mad at him for it. But I'm absolutely going to say dipping potato chips in ketchup is a kindergarten move.
Again,
kindergarten move.
The more you say, that's not an adult move, it makes you look like less of an adult. You don't, it don't matter. Eat the food how you want to eat it. You're not the arbiter of food. The arbiter is in Michigan. Okay. Stop with the arbiter stuff. Do you when it comes to food. Just don't do the food. That's just weird.
Do not dip your chip. Why even eat the chips? Just put ketchup on a spoon and down the hatch.
All right. By the way, we can add ketchup to the thing that Rob hates. What is the acceptable use of ketchup?
Burger,
Okay.
hot dog. I'm a ketchup on every dog I eat guy.
Okay. Steak.
No,
You say no.
no.
Which is again, this is the 1% thing. I think that's part of the problem.
That's not a 1%.
This
That's
is-
a guy who's had.
This
good
is a
steak
guy
thing.
who's grew up in a steakhouse.
You know what it is?
and
You know who puts ketchup on steak? People who think flank steak is good steak. That's who puts ketchup on a steak.
poor people.
Sure.
Yeah, like what I was growing up.
I mean, if that's how you want to take it.
When I think of steak, I think ketchup because we very rarely had it. So when we did, you had to use some ketchup because it wasn't the best tasting steak, and it had nothing to do with how well it was cooked. It had to do with the cut of the meat and the fact that we couldn't afford anything else. And that's not me going, oh, look at me, I was poor and Rob was rich. I mean, comparatively, it's the truth.
That's fine. You understand why it's a poor person's steak. Because it's bad.
Thank you, Ray Ray. You do you, man. I mean, I do not go to eat and go, what would Rob do? I mean, if I get to that point, I need to retire.
No. It shouldn't be what should Rob do. It's what should be done.
No,
And ketchup on steak should not be done.
You are the only person that I know that just wants to hurt someone when you hear them say they do that.
I'm a pacifist. I'm Liber Rob the woke warrior.
Dude, I've seen the violence in your eyes.
I just
and
want you to know,
there's a few things that causes it to well up.
I just want you to know that you're wrong. I don't want to hurt you. I just want you to know you're wrong and have bad taste. That's all. That's all.
It's a good thing the Boo Box no longer exists because you'd be dipping your chips in some wonderful ketchup.
Ugh, gross.
But we'd make it worse.
Gross.
It'd be catsup, not ketchup.
Texture said, I've heard the chocolate shop uses mayo in their cookie recipe, and that's why they're so good. Don't know if true, but I always wonder. From what the text is telling me, mayo in baked goods makes it fluffier. And listen, if I have a chocolate chip cookie, I want that thing to break when I pick it. Not break, not like shatter, not like crumble. I want to pick it up and it's like it falls in half and it just kind of droops in half, like my bacon. It just droops in half. Big old soft cookie.
Yeah. Okay.
And if mayo makes the cookie softer, I am all in for that.
If it's flaccid, it's for Rob.
Texter said, Rob, what about chips and salsa? What's the difference? Salsa's not ketchup,
It's
my dude.
tomato based, just like ketchup is. It's just, I mean.
Let me tell you this. If your salsa is just diced tomatoes, you don't have salsa. You're eating tomato. Salsa is chilies and peppers and a mix of things and spices and flavors, not cut up tomatoes.
If it
That's
does,
not it.
But if it doesn't have tomatoes in it, is it salsa?
No.
Okay.
But it's not, if it's just tomatoes, it's also not salsa. Or at least it's not good salsa. Then you got bad salsa. That's bad too.
There is bad salsa out there.
100% there's bad salsa. I will eat no salsa before I eat bad salsa. It's a fact.
You know, when you roll up to a Mexican restaurant and you want mild and they basically bring you tomato sauce. You haven't done that before? I've seen that happen a few times.
That's bad. That's bad salsa. You just went to, so just say, can you bring me a tomato, please? Just bite on a tomato because that's all you're doing. Just eat a tomato. I don't have a problem with that. My dad, again, my old man used to slice tomatoes and eat it with salt and pepper. That's what you want, and that's okay.
That's good, especially if it's fresh out the garden. Got to make sure you clean it first. But yeah,
I grow tomatoes. I'm a fan.
Yeah,
but you know what I do with my tomatoes? I also grow peppers and make good salsa, like a person with taste.
I have heard tell for years about all this good stuff that you supposedly make, and you say you're going to bring stuff in, and you never do.
I will bring you salsa this year.
Yeah, you said that last year too.
Texter said, Lonzo is the Leia Remini of mayonnaise.
I am.
Texter said, ketchup on steak is a crime against humanity, similar to ketchup on eggs. I have less of an issue.
Look at this.
I have less of an issue with ketchup on scrambled eggs.
Oh, no.
To a point.
Oh, no.
If you turn it into ketchup with eggs, then you lose me.
Wow.
If you you just give it a little touch, just a little condiment touch, just a little pop. I'm good with that, but that's about it. Texter is corn salsa is salsa and doesn't have tomatoes. Texter said, Rob, ketchup on a hot dog, but not on potato chips. When did you become a communist?
Can we go to break, comrade?
Sports Flash.
Yesterday on the Deep Cut podcast, 7-time Super Bowl champion and 5-time NFL MVP Tom Brady said, yeah, I changed the story. He wouldn't be opposed to a return to football if a team needed a short-term solution for an injured quarterback. He wanted me to put GOAT. I'm not doing that. Brady also said his plan to become an owner is still in motion and that he looks forward to becoming a broadcaster this season. Pittsburgh Penguins star Sidney Crosby is writing his name all over the NHL's history books and did it again yesterday. Crosby became just the 14th player in league history to record 1,000 career assists and 10th all-time leading scorer in a 6-5 overtime win over Detroit. Crosby is only the 7th player to record 1,000 assists with one franchise. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a lot of fun. Wire to Wire. The Jam Cam.
Which means she would likely have to go gluten-free and take supplements the rest of her life. Which means my house is about to go gluten-free. If that's the case.
Wow.
Don't love that.
Well, Lisa has a thing called hemochromatosis.
Mm-hmm.
So she has the exact opposite. She has too much iron in her
iron?
blood and has to have transfusions every once in a while to get
Really?
the iron taken out. Yeah. But they have trouble getting her veins, or it's a hard process for her.
Yeah.
And when she gets too
How
much
often does she
iron,
do it?
more than she is doing it, she gets lethargic. She gets, I mean, it's bad. And she's right now at that point.
So
where-
like they take blood out and put back in a different blood back in.
yeah, it's again, and she has to go to the cancer center to do it, and she won't let me go with her.
Why?
She just won't let me do it, and I'm not going to fight her.
Sure.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm going to find something out that I didn't already know.
Right.
But it's something she's had to do a good portion of her life. Her sisters have to do it too. So far, Raven's been fine.
Yeah.
And hopefully it stays that way. So we have opposite ends when it comes to that. Maybe they could get together and just swap, like share
Just
blood.
put-
Just share
flip
blood.
them
Yeah,
back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
Just run a tube.
yeah. Just halfway, and so then it will equal out. I wish blood worked that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great. That would solve a lot of problems. But you can get your bread elsewhere. You can bring bread and leave it in the office.
I was going to say, I'll just be eating sandwiches at work every day.
There you go. We got a fridge.
Go downstairs and cook me a grilled cheese with mayo.
Got a full kitchen. Oh, imagine that smelling grilled cheese while you're downstairs and walking in there and them saying, nope, you can't have
The
that.
office being full of the smell of grilled cheese is only bad for the people who don't get a grilled cheese.
Exactly. That's power. Sorry.
That's power.
Sorry, you can't have any.
Hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Radio program starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And it's the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown and the Great One Lonzo with you on a lovely, what a day, Upstate Friday AM. It is beautiful outside. It's beautiful in Augusta, Georgia, where the boys are knocking the golf ball around at Augusta National Golf Course. The resumption of the end of round number 1 currently taking place. The 27 golfers who did not get to finish their opening round are on the course right now. And we will update you on the leaderboard as the leaderboard updates for the remainder of the morning that we are on the air.
That's an interesting sweater vest.
Jason Day is wearing a very... I don't know how to describe it. It says Melbourne Golf Championship or club or something across, but it's like jersey lettering, but it's like wrapped around the entire front of the sweater.
It looks like something Wham wore back in the day. With the
It should
big
say
letter.
Frankie says relax
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
It's a very interesting look. Jordan Spieth gets a birdie, cuts himself back down to +2, a little closer to the cut line at the end of the day. We'll see how that finishes up. Got Hodges off the tee right now on the par 4 first. He is 2 over. The second round, early groups, will be going out at 10 a.m. That should give enough time for the late round groups from yesterday to finish up their 18, head back to the clubhouse. Eldrick Tiger Woods is currently lining up a long birdie putt. Nope, this is a par putt. That's not great. Unless he sinks this one. This is on the par 4 14th, his first hole of the day. He needs to sink this one to stay at -1. I think he's probably okay on the cut line at even.
Noonan.
Leaves that one just about 4 inches shy, so he will bogey out 14, his first hole of the second half of the first day. That'll move him back to even. And again, I still think even's good enough to make the cut right now. But we do have day 2 coming up. Now, day 2, gonna have lower scores than day 1. Yesterday, the fellas got out there after the rainstorms overnight on Wednesday night. The course was damp. The greens were slow. They may still be slow, even with the drying system. That putt from Tiger is not a putt he ordinarily leaves short. So it still may be a damp course, and that may actually hurt the afternoon guys and help the early guys, although it did not help Tiger right there. We will, again, update you on this leaderboard as it progresses during the end of round 1 to open the day and the beginning of round 2 coming up here in just a couple of hours. Texture says, do we really think Tiger can survive 23 holes today? I don't know. He's got to play 5 in the morning. I assume that is probably going to take him somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour, maybe an hour and a half top end. And then he will have, let's say, that puts him in the clubhouse about 9:45, 10 o'clock. And then he's got till 3:45 before he goes back out. So he's going to have about a 5-hour turnaround. I don't know how Tiger handles that. Does he go to the range for 5 hours? Just swing the pitching wedge to stay loose?
Are you serious? Would you go for 5 hours to the range?
I don't know. I think it may, first off, it may depend on how he plays the back half of this round. If he goes out here and he stinks it up in the morning, it might be a reset button. If he bogeys the first hole, but then he goes and gets 2-3 birdies in the back 4, he may just want to keep that swing motion loose. Just keep the body loose. Just go out there. I mean, I'm not going to say you swing the golf club 2,000 times, but it might not hurt you to get out there, take the 8-iron out of the bag, and just hit some golf balls. Stay loose. I don't know. And this is one of the unique challenges for the guys that did not finish yesterday is if you are sitting on a 5-hour window between finishing 18 and then starting back up for another 18, how do you handle that? And it's going to be different for a guy like Max Homa, a guy like Brooks Koepka versus a guy like Tiger. We know Tiger's physical limitations, the back, the ankle, the leg. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the best way for him to stay loose is. I don't know if it's to go grab a hot dog and a beer. I don't know if it's to go back to the hotel room and catch 2-3 hours worth of Z's. I don't know if it's to stay on the range literally the whole time. I don't know if it's to walk 18 between 18s. I don't know what the right answer is. What I do know is I selfishly hope he figures out what the right way is. I hope he knows his body well enough to know, all right, I need to do this for the ankle or that for the lower back or whatever. I hope he's got it. We'll find out. Texture said, I'm rooting for him, but yeah, I'm seriously questioning today. His best bet would be to not finish second round today either. I don't disagree. The problem is this tournament is finishing Sunday. They will play until dying light. They played until dark last night. They played until about 7:12 when the horn went off last night. It was dark. I was on the air with, or getting ready to go on the air with Trista, Ryan, and Nick, and they were talking about it. They were like, oh, it didn't look like it was that dark. Yeah, that's what cameras are made for. Cameras are made, you know when you look at a camera, when somebody takes a picture and it's got that little pinhole in the front and that it shuts, that's called aperture. And you can open up that hole to allow in more or less light. And so at night when it is dark outside, they open that aperture up to gather as much light as they can, which is why they can be outside in sundown scenario, but make it on TV look like it's bright as day. They played till dark last night. And I agree with you. The best thing that could happen for Tiger Woods here would be if he plays 13, 14 holes today, plays effectively 18 holes, and has the opportunity to rest, come out, do the same thing tomorrow. I think it may be better just to play 18 straight, because here's the thing. Tiger went 1 under yesterday. He comes out and he gives that stroke back on the very first hole he plays today. He might not be the same guy. The problem you're going to bump into, if that's what happens, is this tournament's finishing on Sunday. And if Tiger is a Sunday golfer, if he gets to rock the red today or this weekend, if Tiger's a Sunday golfer, there's gonna be a day, be it tomorrow, Saturday, today, tomorrow, or Sunday, there's gonna be a day he's gonna have to play 23.
So if he, even with the early round people, who have to finish their round today, if they play badly, they have to turn around and play quicker, right? Because it's the higher scores go first and then the lower scores play later, right?
Yes. So it would.
So if he comes out and has a bad rest of the time,
it's going to suck for him.
Then
tomorrow.
the turnaround time is going to be a lot quicker. No, wouldn't he have to go back on a lot quicker today?
No. Today's tee times are set.
Okay.
Today's tee times are set. Tiger's tee time is 3:54 p.m.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So today's tee times are set. Tomorrow's tee times are not. Tomorrow's tee times will be determined by scores. Groupings will be determined by scores.
All right.
So what could happen is Tiger ends up theoretically, assuming he finishes all 18 of his afternoon round. If he finishes all 18, but let's say he finishes at 2 over, and 2 over is the cut line, then he would possibly have the early tee time, unless he does not finish 18 today, in which case they would have him come out tomorrow morning, start. Then they still have to determine the cut line, right? So there's a chance he's got to come out tomorrow, play 4 holes, and miss the cut he's done. Or he comes out tomorrow, in which case, regardless of scores, he will play a later afternoon round again tomorrow. So that is one of the reasons that I think it would, at least that's my understanding of how it would work. That is part of the reason for me, even if he plays 17 today and he can't get 18 in because they blow the horn and it's just too dark, even if he plays 17 and he's got to come out tomorrow, that would make tomorrow's afternoon tee time later for Tiger. Not quite as late because it's a smaller field with the cut line being today, but it would give him the latest opportunity for a cut start tomorrow and kind of space that out. But like I said, whether it's today or tomorrow or Sunday, there will be a day that Tiger's going to have to play more than 18 in a day. That's just the unluck of the draw of having a late tee time yesterday.
From what we've seen so far, ain't nobody putting this morning. Everybody's missing.
Putts are struggling today. And again, the texture and the pacing of a green at Augusta, it can change hour by hour, not just day by day. When it starts to warm up, when the sunlight starts to fall on different parts of the green, you can have not even just the green changing, you can have parts of the green changing. If there is a big shadow across the green, the part that's in the shadow will play slower than the part that's in the sun. And you may not just have to gauge speed, you may have to gauge speed twice. All right, it's going to go this speed when I'm putting through the shadow, but it's going to pick up speed when it gets to the sun or vice versa. So when these guys are out here this morning, they played yesterday on greens that while they do have the air dryer tech, basically, and I learned this yesterday, the way it works is they basically have a...
Look behind them. Did you see the wind?
I did not.
Yeah, the wind.
Oh, it's still windy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically underneath the green, there's like a little, I don't know what to call it, cavern. It's like a little layer of air. And they hook these big hot air blowers into tubes that then blow super hot air up under the soil and the grass. And that takes the water out. But it's obviously not a rapid process. It's not like a jet dryer at a NASCAR track where they hit it with 1,000-degree air at 800 miles an hour. They just pump hot air under the green. So yesterday, the guys who went out in the morning rounds, when it had just stopped raining a couple of hours ago, the greens were dramatically different from the guys who played later in the afternoon, which means that the guys that are going out this morning are playing on totally different greens than they put it on yesterday, which makes sense that the putts they're gonna be tough to come by. This is a disadvantage of not having finished yesterday. You're going to be putting on greens that are dramatically different than the greens that you putted on 12 hours ago, basically, or 16 hours ago. You're going to have to play a different game with the putter today. You're going to have to read differently. You're going to have to experiment with the greens a little bit today in a way you didn't have to do yesterday. By the way, if you are Jason Day, if you are Max Homa, you're playing with Tiger. Tiger just got on the box and outdrove Max Homa by about 6 yards. Yeah, you know that broken guy? That guy, that bionic man, Tiger, that washed up old grandpa who needs to get the hell off the course? He just outdrove Max Homa by 6 yards.
Yeah, but if you're those guys, you saw how he's putting and you're all right.
They're putting that way too. He is picking up 6 yards on him off the tee.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore could drive it a long way too until he learned how to putt.
You know Happy Gilmore was fake, right? I had to hit it off of Frankenstein's fat foot. I missed that. That movie's Happy Gilmore movie sequel in the works, from what I understand.
It is, but it's going straight to Netflix.
Which is not
entirely a bad thing.
No, Netflix has done some decent stuff. I did finally watch Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and Gal Gadot.
I haven't seen it, but that was like 4 years ago or something.
Was that long ago?
Probably longer than that.
We finally watched it. It's all right. Wasn't bad. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. The Rock is The Rock, and Gal Gadot is hot. That's pretty much the movie. It's not bad. All right, we'll keep you up to date on the Masters again as the leaderboard progresses this AM. Tiger Woods did indeed give a stroke back on 14. First hole he had to play today. He got through 13 yesterday. Gave a stroke back on 14. That brings him back to even. Again, I think even probably makes the cut because I think the scores are going to be lower today, but I think he's going to have to fight to stay around even. Bryson DeChambeau, your clubhouse leader at 7 under. He goes off at 11:54 this morning. Scotty Scheffler is a shot behind. He goes out at 1:48. Nikolai Højgaard of Denmark is 5 under. He is on the first right now. He is sitting in third as it stands. So that's where we're at with the Masters. We will keep you up to date again with that scoreboard as it develops. Let's do this. Let's run to a break. When we come back here in just a moment from right now, we'll talk NBA playoffs, NBA play-in. Had a couple of games last night, games that were important, games that mattered. The Sacramento Kings, the LA Lakers, the Golden State Warriors are all now locked into the play-in. New Orleans and Phoenix are a half game apart with one to play. One of those teams is going play-in. One of those teams are going play-off, and it is up to the Pelicans whether they go into the play-in or the playoff. We will talk about that. We'll take a look over on the side of the Eastern Conference as well at the remaining schedule and who could end up where and what matchups we might get, which ones we want to get. Plus, we talked earlier about the fact that Americans love superstars, not super teams. And I use Caitlin Clark as my example. I'm going to give you another example coming up in a little while. It's Caitlin Clark again, but in a different way this time. That's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
So Backlash on May 4th will be at 1 p.m. That's what I'm talking about. I know it's during your show, but still.
Good and bad. Good because I'll get to watch it live even if I can't listen to it live. No. Bad because it's in the day. Good because I'll get to watch it. Because May the 4th, I will be at the Well in a VIP suite for the Greenville Symphony Orchestra playing the soundtrack to Star Wars: A New Hope live with the movie on in the background.
It's also a new comic book day. Or a free comic book day.
May 4th is?
Mm-hmm.
Big day for the boys. Maybe I'll hit that after, between Bet for the Cycle and going to watch a symphony play Star Wars music live. Maybe I'll hit the comic book store.
Maybe I can get Odie to dress up as Odie-Wan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi was right there the whole time, and I never thought of it. That's unreal.
Is Ewan McGregor, is he Irish? I believe.
Yes.
Might be Scottish.
Actually, I think McGregor is Scottish. He is Scottish.
It's all the same.
It is very not the same.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know.
This is in case Odie's still
But
watching.
as an Irishman, I feel compelled to defend Odie.
As I say to him, it's the United Kingdom.
As he would say to you, Ireland is not.
Oh, no. Luckily, you don't speak that way to me.
Did what he say? It was in a common cuss word, but he said it with two O's instead of a UC.
Multiple.
Hilarious. Did you watch Full Swing? I have not watched Full Swing. I need to watch Full Swing.
What is Full Swing?
It is a
Sounds like a golf thing.
It's a golf. Yes, it is. It's a golf. It's like the NASCAR and the F1 thing, but it's golf.
Oh, okay.
I do want to watch it though, Shane.
Who's it focus on? One individual?
PGA
Or?
Tour guys. It's got Rory in it. It's got DJ Dustin Johnson in it. I don't know why I say DJ when I have to say Dustin Johnson every time afterwards. DJ. It's got so it follows them through last year's Masters, the President's Cup, and the Ryder Cup, I think. There is a Doug and Andrew cameo in the Masters episode. I our Greenville Triumph friend Doug Irwin, and the host of the.
Wait. You know people in it and you haven't watched it?
They're
It doesn't matter. You know people in it. Yeah, that's horrible.
Nolan, happy Friday, fella. Is this a new track?
Nah.
I don't think I've heard this one. This is bold.
Maybe in my rotation, sometimes I accidentally skip it. So
This needs to be on the list. This is good.
this is another one that makes me think of MMA because it
I'll say
sounds like
this is-
something that would
This
be
is
on
wrestling
UFC.
walkout music.
Yeah.
100%. Speaking of UFC 300, real good card. I was going to say quantity over quality card. Instead of having like one elite fight, you're getting a pretty good list of good fights. I'm in. This is probably going to be the first card in a while that I'm like, nah, stay at home Saturday. It's too good. And if I go out, it's going out to watch this card. Real good card. All right. Let's talk NBA here for just a moment, shall we? Last night we had a handful of games that had impact on the playoffs. We had Sacramento and New Orleans. Yesterday evening, the Pellies go on the road 27-14 away from the blender this year. They win 135-123.
Zion, all right? You doing okay?
He got hurt. He got a wrist injury.
On
And
this,
then he came back out and finished the game with authority. He and CJ McCollum.
so he recovered from the finger and now he's got a wrist.
Well, I'm assuming he was compensating. But he
Okay.
did go 31 on 13 of 21 from the floor. Ended up 5 of 5 from the stripe, 4 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, a block. Pretty good night. CJ, 11 of 18, 9 of 12 from the arc for 31. And my dog, Trey Murphy III, capped off the night with 27 on 7 of 14 and 6 of 12 from behind the arc. The Pellies shot 55% from 3 last night. The boys can ball, baby. They can ball. I love it. Got Sacramento. Domantas Sabonis, 18 points, 22 for Harrison Barnes. DeAndre Fox is a dude. An absolute dude. By the way, that's a 5-game set against the Sacramento Kings. The Pellies sweep the season series. Get the brooms! You love to see that. All right, so where does that leave us right now? Because we had some games the last 2 nights that mattered. As it stands in the Eastern Conference, we know the Celtics are going to end up with the 1 seed. They locked that up weeks ago, so they have kind of taken, I'm not even going to say taken some time off. They have lost at the Garden this year 4 games. 4 games at home. They've dropped L's. We talked about during bracket fill-in time. By the way, our bracket championship winners, we should probably talk about that. I was saving it till the great one got back. Should probably talk about who won our bracket contest coming up in a little while. We'll do that. Actually, you know what? We might end the hour with that.
Good, because I'm glad it didn't just disappear.
Of course not.
Yeah, I just I want to know who won.
You're going to find out coming up next. But we talked about during our bracket selection process that when you pick sports, there is a art to not overthinking, but also not underthinking. Underthinking is just picking chalk. Overthinking is when you start getting way too deep into the weeds in terms of coming up with stuff. Am I underthinking or overthinking that the Boston Celtics are going to win the Eastern Division title this year? I don't think I am. It's the best team in basketball. They're a 62-win team. They dropped 18 so far. They've lost 4 games at home on the whole damn season. And every playoff series in the East is going to be hosted by the Beantown Celtics at Baston Gadden. Am I over or underthinking that the C's are going to win the East because I look down the rest. There's Milwaukee. Dame is going to have to carry this team for a little while by himself. Giannis got shut down for the last 3 games of the regular season. The injury that he sustained, which is a strained soleus, that is a muscle that runs up the back of your calf. He has a strained soleus, and from what I understand, this is an injury that if it is the lowest grade soleus strain, is an injury that requires around 16 days to fully recover from. Now, there's good news if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. The good news is that you are going to get the winner of a play-in game, and likely you're going to end up with either the 76ers or the Miami Heat. Most likely the 76ers. That's the bad news.
This sounds like a made-up injury, doesn't it? I mean, I've never heard of that until now. It's like something, yeah. Sorry, boss. The doc said my soleus is messed up. Soleus. So it's doc speak. I don't know how to say it, but it's I can't come to work. I'm sorry.
Soleus sounds like a car. The all-new Ford Soleus. 16 days is around the average time of recovery for the lowest grade soleus strain. So if indeed Giannis does have a flat tire, hey-oh. If Giannis does indeed have a flat tire, why are we showing Tiger in slow motion? Please tell me it's because it's a beautiful swing and not because he comes up going, yeah. I can't tell.
Oh, no, it's where the ball went.
Where'd it go? Water?
It
rough?
Just
Gross?
It just went on over.
Well, if he's shooting over on a hole that has a front hazard that's wet, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but it looked like it went over the hill and into a bunker. I just glanced and saw it.
I would rather it end up in sand than water. Welcome to Augusta. So the Bucks are likely going to get, I think.
Would you put money on the Celtics to win the East?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, they've been dominant record-wise. Why wouldn't you do that?
Not only have they been dominant record-wise, but nobody has been able to go into Boston and win. In fact, one of those losses, one of their 4-home losses, was to the Knicks the other day, well after Boston had locked up home court advantage freaking weeks ago, right? The Celtics right now, depending on what book you look at, BetMGM, they're minus 185. Get them on ESPN, bet at minus 175. You get them at your best bet right now is DraftKings. You can get them at minus 110. They are a betting odds favorite to win the Eastern Division. And here's why. The Bucks have a banged up Giannis Antetokounmpo right now they got to deal with. I don't know that Dame can do it by himself. I think you've got to be able to run a 2-man game if you want to get by Boston, especially in Boston. The Knicks don't have their big man Julius Randle. And the Cavs, Magic, and Pacers just aren't good enough. There is one team that I am willing to take a flyer on right now. There is one team I might sprinkle a little something on to get it done. They are now the 3rd shortest odds on the board to win the East, despite the fact that they're a play-in team. The Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid, get in the hole. Oh, that'd have been real nice. Joel Embiid comes back from injury. Oh, Grandpa can't play, can he, Lonzo? Can he? Tiger up here missing by a 1/4 inch.
He, like most players this morning, seems to not be able to hit stuff like that. But, old Tiger would put enough spin in that to just get it in there.
You can't put that much spin on that shot. That's not a shot you can really control like that. That's a shot you just got to get close and hope you get the right speed. That's a wonderful golf shot. That's a spectacular golf shot. That's a golf shot 90% of us can't hit. Joel Embiid comes back for the 76ers from his injury he suffered weeks ago. I thought, all right, ring rust, right? Going to take Joel a little while to get back up to speed. Going to take him a little while to get his stamina back up to playing 35 minutes a night. And all Joel Embiid is doing right now is putting up 38, 11, 8 score lines. It's ridiculous. Joel Embiid, as much as I think Nikola Jokic was the MVP last year and got jobbed because he is a boring player if you don't like big man bully ball basketball, Joel Embiid's still really damn good. And he came back and it took him like 1.5 games to knock the ring rust off and be ready to go. Philly is going to probably, I think, catch Milwaukee in the second round as the second of the 2 play-in teams. Well, the first play-in team that'll make it to the playoffs, higher seeded playoff team, make it into the tournament. They are a full game up on Miami, and I don't think they're getting past. The Cavs, Magic, and Pacers aren't good enough. Eric Spoelstra in the Heat are a wild card. Because Espo always seems to do something in the playoffs, and we have all gotten very accustomed to the legend of playoff Jimmy Buckets. We talk about Jimmy Buckets 2 times a year. We talk him when he shows up looking like Fallout Boy for his media shoot, and we talk about him in the playoffs when he goes out there and starts doing playoff Jimmy stuff, putting his team on his back, scoring 45 every single game, and stealing games away from teams. Unfortunately, the rest of the Heat aren't as good as they usually are going into this, and I don't think that even playoff Jimmy Buckets is going to beat Boston, and that's who they're going to catch after the play-in tournament. I don't see it. I think you're going to have the Heat go in as the lowest play-in seed. The Sixers is the highest. The Sixers are going to get the Bucks. I could see the Heat beating the Bucks. I can't see the Heat beating the Celtics. So the Knicks, if they had Julius Randle, I think are a legitimate threat. The Bucks, if Giannis Antetokounmpo heals like Wolverine and is good to go a buck at the beginning of the playoff, then maybe the Milwaukee Bucks could threaten if they get a couple of enormous games out of Dame and out of Giannis. But I can't see a world that they do. I can't see a world that they do. I think over in the East, it's Boston's game. How about over in the West? The Nuggets are the 1 seed officially as of right now. They have a 1-game lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Most of these teams, by the way, have a game left to play on the regular season. Some of them have 2. Over on the Western side of things, the Nuggets right now hang on to the 1 seed. With the 1 seed, they're catching the lowest play-in team, which means they are going to get the lowest remaining seed out of the 7-seed Suns or 7-seed Pelicans, as the Pelicans have a 1-game lead on Phoenix. New Orleans does have 2 games left to play. They have a game against the LA Lakers to close out the regular season. They have a game on the road at Golden State. That is tonight, back-to-back on the road for them. The Phoenix Suns have 2 games remaining at Sacramento. Sacramento, by the way, now locked into the play-in tournament. It's a seeding issue for them now. And then on the road at the Timberwolves. I do think, because the expectation is that Brandon Ingram will be back for the Pelicans for the final game of the year against the Lakers. They will use that as a tune-up game for BI to get him back in the swing of things before the playoffs. That's my understanding. If BI comes back and is able to contribute, I think the Pelicans are going at worst 1-0 in the next 2. Can they beat the Warriors? I don't know. Depends on what the Warriors are. We watched the other day when they dropped 26 trays against the Lake Show, but then they were on the road at Portland. Portland stinks. And Golden State only put 100 on the board against them. They are at home against the Pellies. I don't know which Dubs team shows up. If New Orleans goes 2-0, obviously they're going to hang on to the 6th seed. They will go in as a playoff team. Phoenix will be a play-in team. If New Orleans goes 1-1, obviously Phoenix has got to go 2-0. If New Orleans goes 0-2, Phoenix has just got to win 1. Likelihood is the Pelicans are going in as the 6, the Suns as the 7. They would take on the 10 seed. I don't know if that means that they're going to get Golden State or LA. Those two teams have an identical record. They could also get the Sacramento Kings because the Kings also have an identical record. The Kings remaining on the schedule have a homer against the Suns and a homer against the Blazers. They are going 1-0. The Golden State Warriors, as we just mentioned, have the Pelicans and then a homer against the Jazz. They're probably going 1-1. The Lakers have a game against the Pelicans to wrap up the season. They're on the road at Memphis. They're probably going 1-1. I think your Western Conference play-in is going to go Phoenix 7, Sacramento 8, Golden State 9, LA 10. We'll find out. That would put Sacramento at home against Golden State, the Lakers on the road at Phoenix. I don't think either one of those two bottom teams are going to get a dub there. If one does, it'll be Golden State over Sacramento, but I'm not willing to put money on that. Denver is 1 game up on Minnesota and Oklahoma City, who are both tied at the 2 seed now. The Clippers are locked in with 51 wins. At the 4 seed, the Mavs are locked into the playoff at 50 wins in the 5 seed. I have asked 3 different NBA folks over the last few days to give me a pick that's not Denver out of the West and not Boston out of the East. And this has been very interesting. All of them gave me different answers on both sides. I have had one analyst say they believe that with a healthy Brandon Ingram and a healthy and angry Zion Williamson, the Pelicans could be the shock team out of the West. I had one expert tell me that the Dallas Mavericks are the surprise team out of the West. And I've had one tell me that Oklahoma City, I don't know if they're a surprise. They're the 3 seed, but maybe just because they are a young team trying to find its way, maybe they're a surprise. Over in the East, I asked for 3 surprise teams from those same 3 experts. I got one who said the Magic, which is the team that I picked a couple of days ago. I like this team. This team is very young. This team needs better guard play. I don't know that you can cover up questionable guard play, and I think that is a problem. But I also know this might be the single most hard-headed team in the NBA. This is one of those teams that are like a little chihuahua. You can kick them across the room, but you know they're coming right back. I had one say the 76ers. Let's be very clear. The Philadelphia 76ers are not a surprise team, dudes. They're not a surprise team at all. With Joel Embiid back and healthy, that's a good basketball team. They're not a surprise, but they are the 7th seed. They also, by the way, for the record, if they go 2-0 down the stretch and Indiana drops 1 or drops 2, Philly could still get into the playoff as the 6th seed. They are not locked in as a play-in team. Only Atlanta and Chicago are. Cleveland, Orlando, and Indiana are not locked in as playoff teams. Philly and Miami Heat are not locked in as play-in teams. Any 2 of those could jump up and replace any of the 3 in the top. So this is going to be dicey. It's going to be dicey. It's going to be fun. Last two games of the season are going to be good. I'm going to go Boston wins the East, and I hate going chalk on both sides. But tell me why I'm not picking the Denver Nuggets out of the West to do it again. They're the same team. Same team, same coach, same stars, same system, same success as last year. It's not like anybody saw them do what they did last year and figured out how to beat them. They are still doing it. I have made the point a couple of times. I don't think Denver is doing anything other this year than playing with their food. I think they're like a cat when they found a mouse. Lonzo got a cat to clear the mices. Have you seen the cat catch a mouse and then just like bat it around on the floor while it ain't quite dead yet?
Yeah, she plays with them quite a bit. Yes.
That's the Denver Nuggets. That's the Denver Nuggets. They're the old outside cat that just likes to find that mouse, hurt it, not kill it, hurt it, and then just bat it around and screw with it before it dies. That's the Nuggets. I feel like the Nuggets are going to be like Tom Cruise in Top Gun Maverick right before he goes up the carrot. Just going to hit that accelerator, hit 9 Gs, hang on, see what happens. It's a good team. It's a good team. I don't think, as much as Ant-Man has surprised me, I don't think the Nuggets, even with both of their guys healthy, with Cat coming back, I don't think they have it to beat the Nuggets. I love SGA and the Thunder, too young. I don't trust the Clippers. Luka can't go, I was going to say Luka can't go triple-double every night. Maybe he can. Kyrie's playing great basketball, by the way. Like, all of a sudden, Kyrie Irving's a guy I'm like, I got to watch Kyrie play tonight. That dude has found something. I wonder if he just fell out of the news. So he's like, well, all I got's left is basketball. My dumbass conspiracy theories don't make airwaves anymore.
Or maybe he discovered that sage doesn't work and the world is round.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he discovered the conspiracy theories ain't it. So all I got's ball, and he's balling out now.
Someday he just started looking at his basketball really close, and he held it up to the sky and realized that the sky also was round.
And I'm going to say, taking off the analyst hat, pulling Alonzo, putting on the fan cap here, a healthy Zion, a healthy BI. CJ McCollum leads the NBA in three-pointers. Herb Brooks is the best lateral defender in the game. Trey Murphy's giving you wing play. The Pelicans are a threat, boys. They're a threat. They're going to have to win some road series. But my boys are legit this year. Even Mario agrees with me on that one. Let's take a break, come back, wrap up this hour. The Rob Brown Show continues. I am Rob Brown. He's the great Alonzo. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, got time. We've got time to pee. And so we shall.
All right, guys, stepping away for just a minute. Y'all stay right there. We will be right back. is not the beginning of round 2 for Eldrick. Right now, he is turning in scores that are equivalent. He's gonna. That was a par putt on the par 3 16. That's gonna keep him at even for right now. Even is fine. If he finishes this round even, honestly, even if he finishes it at +1, he's probably okay because it's round 1. If he'd have finished this round yesterday, would have been like, okay, he's in good shape. Now he comes out this morning. Again, it is not the morning that I'm concerned about. I'm watching Jason Day turn in +2s. I'm watching Jordan Spieth turn in +1s. Tiger has had a bogey on 14, and he has parred everything he's played since then. That's good enough. That's good enough. Par is going to keep you alive in this tournament for now. Now, there will have to be a charge at some point. There will have to be a birdie string coming along somewhere. But I just need him in the show on Saturday. Because I don't think that Sunday Tiger obviously doesn't have the mystique that it had back in the day. But I think he was so dominant as redshirt Tiger for so very long that I can't imagine that a few of these guys don't see that red shirt on Sunday and have it impact him at least a little bit. Like, oh crap, Grandpa's still here. Grandpa still got one in him.
All right, I get that you want that. I seriously doubt that the Tiger fear is there anymore.
I mean, again, a lot of these
maybe
guys,
in awe of playing with a celebrity, but you can't have that fear anymore.
Why not? You got to keep in mind, I think, that a lot of these cats he's on the tee box against, a lot of these guys grew up as golfers while he was in his prime. Guys like Max Homa. Max Homa was watching Tiger Woods dominate the world when he was learning how to golf. I'm not saying it does. I'm saying psychologically, for some of them, there might be a few that see that red shirt on Sunday, and it's like a bull. It's like, uh-oh, red. Here we go. This guy hung around. This guy was not expected to hang around, and now he's hung around. Look at that draw. God, I wish I could hit a golf ball like that. 48-year-old Tiger out here still, again, out driving Max Homa again. Dead center of the fairway. It's incredible. On a long 17.
What's Max Homa's score? I thought you said he was like -5?
Minus either 4 or 5 right now.
Yeah, I don't think he's afraid of the drive.
I don't think he is either. Again, my point isn't he's playing better golf than Max Homa right now. My point is, for a dude who is supposed to be like mangled, beaten, bruised, bloody, and just old, the fact that he's out there out driving guys quite literally half his age, does he not get credit for that at least?
I mean, good job. You're not win. I think
maybe this is a golfer thing. I think this is maybe a thing that clicks more with you if you golf.
I have golfed before. No, and I am a competitive person. I just don't think that there is any fear of Tiger at all. And I don't know if there's all. It's just like, hey, good job, old guy. Not bad. I mean, it's one of those things. You've been on the course and watched some old fat dude do something that outdrive you before, right? And then you're just like, wow, way to go, buddy. Inside, you hate that guy, but you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think getting out driven by Ernest down at the Muni isn't exactly the same as getting out driven by Eldrick on Augusta.
I don't know how it's any different. I mean, other than venue, it's just another old guy. Ernest might have been winning that course's championship a bunch of times back in his day, but Ernest got a little long in the tooth. Ernest has enjoyed the food. Ernest needs that golf cart to get around.
Texas said, I'd rather not have Tiger on the weekend because he's all they would show. You wouldn't even see any other golfer.
See, that was my point earlier on. You should listen to hour 1.
Nah.
And also the point of a few people who are on national radio that Rob was talking to.
Nah. I think you guys are dramatic. I think you guys are being a little dramatic.
So, out of all the people who have that you've talked to on the radio, would you say a majority of the people have said that Tiger needs to go home?
No.
Because the 3 yesterday and then me today, and then there's you. So I mean, there's that.
Well,
That would be.
I'm not a majority. I mean, I am a majority. I'm using your math. I'm a majority.
In your head.
No, I don't think so. So there's two things. Number one, how those of us on the radio feel is irrelevant. All that matters is the numbers.
No, listen. How we feel is very important. Please listen every day to hear how we feel, because we are a reflection of you. Some of us are.
Okay. To the TV executives, how we on the radio feel irrelevant.
There we go.
What matters is how you guys feel. And I'm going to go ahead and once again point out correctly, aptly, appropriately. You can all you want. Tell me, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I want to see. Guys, the numbers reflect, as they have historically, that putting Tiger Woods on a TV gets more eyeballs. It just, whether you're hate watching him or love watching him, putting Tiger Woods on the camera gets people to tune in and stay tuned in. It's just the reality. You know what else is reality? That Lonzo does a wonderful sports flash.
Kentucky asked a number of big names to replace John Calipari as their head basketball coach and got a number of no's. But yesterday, they finally named their new head coach in BYU's Mark Pope. Pope, a 1996 graduate of Kentucky, is set to sign a 5-year deal after leading BYU to a 110 and 52 record and 2 NCAA tournament appearances in 5 years. Pittsburgh Penguins star, Sidney Crosby is writing his name all over the NHL's history books and did it again yesterday. Crosby became just the 14th player in league history to record 1,000 career assists. Hey, tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a whole lot of fun. Wire to Wire. Oh, Lord, I'm having trouble not doing the coughing thing on the air. Lord, Lord. I got to kill this because he stopped.
What was it? Oh.
It's so weird. This doesn't sound right.
And away we go with the fourth and final hour of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM. Be a part of the show, won't you? The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas. Fan phone 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE is the way to go to be a part of the radio broadcast.
Poof.
Hi, Heather. Been a minute. You can text the 71307. Start your text with FAN, FAN 71307. Get in the hole! 71307. FAN is the way to start that text.
Wait, I thought you wouldn't be that guy.
No. Watch this shot. Watch this shot, and you'll see what I'm talking about. My dude from about $190 out just had a ball bounce, hit the lip of the cup, and not fall.
I love that they're showing his expression, though. I mean,
Masters television is it's untouchable. Saturday and Sunday rounds specifically, when they don't take commercial breaks, like 8 hours of coverage, they take like 2-minute breaks during the whole thing. It's incredible. And because they have all that time, instead of showing you that damn commercial with the singing auto-tuned pictures, don't let me go, don't let me go. Oh, God, if I see that commercial again, I'm going to scream.
I think I may have saw that one time. I don't even know what that is.
Don't you ever let me go. Woo. Okay, that's commercial played during the March Madness tournament. I'm estimating correctly about 397 times. Yep, that sucks. Hit that tall grass, hit that tall grass, hit the tall grass, hit the tall grass, and stop. Hit the tall grass and stop. It did not stop. Doink. All right. Let's get to some stuff. 71307.
He was cursing in a foreign language.
I probably cursed in a lot of different language.
I think he might be Dutch. So I don't know.
Texter says, well, Steve in the stream asked just mere moments ago, how screwed are the Braves without Spencer Strider, which is a Wunderbar question. It depends on what you mean.
You must chill.
Depends on what you mean by screwed.
Is it panic time? Are we there yet?
No.
Okay. All right.
Not quite yet time for the buzzer.
All right.
Not quite yet time.
Yeah, we need
I
what?
will say-
Another month, and then's when panic sets in.
I will say they got their asses kicked by the New York Mets at home yesterday, and that was real bad.
Play 3,000 games. You're going to lose a couple.
They are not screwed, to answer your question, Steve. I will say this. My over-under 101.5 bet is feeling a lot less good with the Braves at 7-4 and the Phillies at 7-6 as it stands right now. Remember, the Braves lost the game in that series with the Mets because of the rain, which I don't know if it would have been any different. They probably would have picked up a win yesterday because they had to go with Alan Winans off the bump, who gave up like a lot of hits. They are currently 1 game behind the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 8-3. They are 3 games behind the LA Dodgers, who are 10-5. So it depends on your definition of screwed. If you mean screwed as in trouble for the 1 overall seed, yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble for the 1 seed overall. I think we got a couple of things we got to pay attention to. Number one, I think we got to pay attention to what this means.
All right,
Spencer
I
Strider?
have to interrupt for a second because, and this is a legitimate question. How are you looking at seeding with how many games have been played? Like 20?
For the Braves, 11.
You're out of what, 182? What's the exact number? I think it's, yeah. So you're actually looking at seeding 11 games in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I just think,
sorry, 162. by the way.
okay, my bad. I think it's a little early, isn't it?
No, not at all. Not at all, because I think the 1 seed is going to come down to a game. It may come down to a half a game. It may be a half a game difference at the end. This is something that our former colleague Mark Ryan and I used to butt heads on all the time because he felt the same way. 162 games. Who cares if you lose a game on Tuesday at 12:30 in the afternoon? Me, because at the end of every year, the 1 seed frequently seeding. Every year there is a playoff race for either a division crown or for a wild card or whatever that comes down to a game or a half a game. And when it comes down to a single game down the stretch, yeah, you go back and you go, hey, remember that time you lost to the Mets on April 11th, even though it is now September? If you win that game, you win the division. And every team's going to have, 60, 50, 60 of those games that if you win one of them, you might win the division versus go to the wild card. And in the Braves case, it's not you might win the division. Well, I mean, it might be win the division. The Phillies are hanging with you so far. Well, it's a long season. But for me, the race for the Bravos is not against the Phillies in the East. I think the Phillies are going to hit their chill out periods. I think the Braves are going to be consistently good, and they're going to win the East. The race is not against the Phillies for the East. The race is against the Dodgers for the 1 seed, the right to stay home during the wild card round, the right to get a couple of extra days of rest, and the right to host every series, including the NLCS.
Have you ever asked Cody Decker if players approach it that way?
I don't need to.
Yeah, I'm just curious if the players approach it that way, because I got to believe they can't that early on. I mean, you're supposed to win the game that's in front of you, but do players go, oh man, we lost that game. Now we're a half a game out after playing for a month?
I think there is a balance that has to be struck between winning the game that's in front of you while also thinking long term. I think there is a balance that has to be struck. When you are investing your money, you try to, I know, funny, we work in radio.
Theoretically.
If you were theoretically investing your money.
Yes, that was a legitimate laugh out of me.
You invest some of your money in long-term investments and some of your money in short-term investments, right? Like you have to think about both. You need to think about you can't lock all your money up in a long-term investment, because if tomorrow I walk outside and my car breaks, I need to make sure I can afford a rig. On the flip side, I can't invest everything in short-term, because if all of that goes away and I got no long-term investments, I might be a poor old person and having to go play at the Masters because I can't afford anything else.
Yep, that's why he's there.
That's why he's there. So I think there is a balance to be struck, but I think part of the planning for the long term is, if you're Atlanta, making LA come to you in the NLCS, getting the advantage in the ace versus ace game in game number 1 of the NLCS, getting the advantage in the ace versus ace game of game number 5 in the NLCS is mucho importante. So while, yes, I am not going to say, here, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect real-life example. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. The Yankees and the Orioles right now are, depending on the book you look at, co-favorites to win the American League East. The Yankees and the Orioles right now are 2 of the favorites to win the American League overall, or I should say at least win the American League 1 seed, host and get the first round bye. Aaron Judge is a massively important player on that baseball team. Aaron Judge is a top 5 bet to win the American League MVP. Aaron Judge is also a guy that has had health issues his entire career. And why wouldn't he? He's like a 6'7", 265-pound monster of a man who plays in the outfield, by the way. Aaron Judge has a banged up wheel. He's got a bad foot. And during this offseason, Aaron Judge learned that the damage to his foot is pretty much permanent at this point. And Aaron Judge basically got told us over the offseason, my foot's just always going to be hurt. It is less about game management now and is more about pain management now. It is not how do I handle this on a game-by-game basis, but it's how do I handle this for my whole freaking life at this point. And so one of the decisions that has to get made by Aaron Judge, by Aaron Boone, by the New York Yankees, one of the decisions that has to get made on a game-by-game basis is when do you give Aaron Judge a day off to stay in the ice bath?
I thought he killed a squirrel. Something fell out of the tree.
That was a bad drive.
It was I guess, are those magnolia trees? It was a magnolia
You
leaf.
got magnolias, you got dogwoods.
It was really big leaves. The way it fell out of the tree, I thought a squirrel was dead.
Lonzo this morning learned about the gallery tunnel on 18, which is the tee box and then people on about 3 yards on both sides. It is a tunnel to drive through.
As someone watching from there, I don't think I could do that. I think I would be freaked out standing there.
Not a lot of margin for error there. So Aaron Judge, going to have to deal with the foot, which means that there are games where the Yankees are going to have to decide, do we rest this guy? Do we rest one of our better hitters? Do we rest our power guy, our captain, our leader? Do we let this guy sit and give him a day off of his feet at the risk of losing a game that we should not lose in a situation where we think we're going to be dogfighting till the bitter end with the Baltimore Orioles? I think that's part of the reason 162 game schedule is so interesting to me, because it is a manage for the long-term situation. In the NFL, where you got 17 games, if a guy's kind of bruised up and banged up, you got to play that guy, even if he's a little hurt, you know? Football is where the old expression, you're hurt but you're not injured, comes from. In baseball, you got to consider that. Because while you might be hurt but not injured, if you are hurt and I go out there and I play you in back-to-back 4-game series, if you're playing, 14, 15 days in a row, the likelihood that hurt goes to injured skyrockets. And so if I'm Aaron Judge and the Yankees and my foot's starting to act up on me a little bit, and I say, let's say my foot hurts, but it ain't hurt yet, but it hurts. And I got a 4-gamer against the Oakland A's, a 2-gamer against the Milwaukee Brewers, and then a 4-gamer against the Baltimore Orioles. How do I handle that? Do I take Judge out of the lineup for the A's and risk dropping a couple to Oakland? Do I leave him in the lineup, take him out for 2 against the Brewers, a better team but a shorter series, and hope my guys can play around not having him in the lineup? Do I run him all 6 and hope he's good when Baltimore's come to town? Try to get as many of those 6 that I can, and then hope I can split against. How do you handle that? And I think that is part of what makes a 162-game series very compelling. It's all those little things. And these are things that casual baseball fans I don't want to say take into consideration. These are things that you're ignorant to. And I don't mean that in a negative way. The word ignorant is not a negative word. Some people portray it that way. It's not a negative word. It just means you don't know. And why would you? But these are the management decisions that guys like Boone and Snicker get paid a lot of money to handle. So when you look at it that way, yes, a 12:30 Thursday game against the fourth pitcher in the Mets rotation that you go out and lose 12-4 because your guys aren't hitting the ball, your ace is down, and you got to pull up a guy who's a career minor leaguer to get a big lead start is not good. And mark this conversation, because if we get to the end of the year and it's Braves-Dodgers in a shootout for the 1 seed, and the Braves go down by 1 game, and then they make the NLCS, and they've got to go out to LA for games 1 and 2, and their ace, whether Strider is back or Fried is still in the 1 hole, but their guy's got to go to try to get his best juice on the road in LA, I will be able to go, hey, Lonzo, do you recall back in April 12th, when we had a conversation about whether or not 1 out of 162 games actually matters? Feels like it matters now, right? Feels like it matters now. Because if they won that 1 game that we were talking about on April 11th of 2024, we'd be in Atlanta right now. Max Fried or Spencer Strider, if he can make it back, or whoever, would not be pitching on the road in a very hostile LA environment. They'd be in the friendly confines of Truist Park. And I would say that's absolutely a playoff advantage. So this is why I get frustrated when I talk about a game and I go, that game sucked. What a lack of performance. What a bad day. The bats were chilly. It sucked. You had to go to a minor leaguer and give him a start, and he got absolutely rocked. That sucks. And you go, bro, it's 1 out of 162 games. Correct. But I think the Braves and the Dodgers, now with Spencer Strider down, one of the things I said coming into this year was, if you are the Braves and the Dodgers have the injury list that the Dodgers have right now, which the Dodgers injury list to pitching, even with Glasnow going, the Dodgers without Kershaw and some of these other guys that they've got banged up, Shohei Ohtani not pitching this year, Dustin May on the 60, Tony Gonsolin on the 60, Walker Buehler on the 15. With all these guys out, with all these guys down, Atlanta's got to build a cushion out of the gate. Atlanta needs to go up 5, 6, 7 games on the Dodgers out of the gate. Why? So that when Buehler and Gonsolin and Kershaw and May are all back for the Dodgers, you're sitting on a 6, 7 game lead, and you don't have to go game for game with LA. You can give a couple of back late in the season. You can kind of take your foot off the accelerator a little bit and go into cruise control while they're fighting for their lives, which also means they enter the playoffs a little more exhausted. You enter the playoffs a little more relaxed. And that to me is a good thing. Now without Spencer Strider, that cushion's a little harder to grab. Again, I still think you're in a pretty good spot. I still think you have got a pretty good rotation. Max Fried on many other teams is an ace. Charlie Morton is the only baseball player right now who seems to have found a way to defeat Father Time. Chris Sale. I came into this year saying, I don't need Chris Sale to be a monster. I just need him to be good enough. Well, guess what? Without Spencer Strider, now I kind of need him to be a monster. I came into this year thinking the Braves don't need to put all the pressure on Chris Sale. They just need to let Chris Sale go out there and be comfortable on the bump. Now there's pressure on Chris Sale. Reynaldo Lopez has been fine. Not great, not Cy Young caliber. He's been fine. Well, what next? You got Ian Anderson down in the minors still. I have no idea if Ian Anderson is ever going to make his way back to Atlanta and be the guy that he was before the injuries and everything. I've got no idea if Ian can be that guy. A former postseason hero, but some guys have these injuries and they don't ever come back the same guy. I don't know if Ian Anderson's going to be that guy. Max Fried's an ace on most other staffs. Morton, Sale, Lopez. Winans is going to have to pick up some slack until Anderson's ready to get called up, if he is. Are the Braves screwed? Not at all. Not at all. Are they the bona fide guaranteed 1 seed now, like I thought they were a week and a half ago? Absolutely not. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a slug out with the Dodgers. The good news is the Braves have built a lineup 1 through 9 that should be able to score enough runs to pick up whoever's on the bump. But they didn't yesterday. Yesterday, the bats were quiet. Yesterday, the bats were quiet against a good but not great pitching staff and effort from the New York Mets. If the Braves go that cold in the playoffs against the Philadelphia Phillies, the Bravos are capital S screwed. Is it panic time yet? No, not at all. Not at all. But if the bats go a week cold, if the Braves are only putting 4 runs up on the board for a week, game by game, and Alan Winans stays in the rotation for any length of time, then yes, then it will be time to push the panic alarm. Let's take a break, come back. Got a few more things I want to run through before we take a break. 71307 is the text line. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-M. We'll read them on the air. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. You can also get at us on the Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone at 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
Tiger went from out of the woods into the bunker. Falling apart on his last hole.
I can live with a +1. I prefer an E. I love a -1, but I can live with a +1.
Lots of what appears to be mullets from out the hats at the Masters.
League's Coach of the Year in her first season. If she truly is the best candidate for the job, I say hire her now. Her credentials are solid, and the Hornets, who feel like a franchise that's languished for decades in a basketball-hungry state, need a boost. If all goes right, it's a brilliant and groundbreaking move. If it fails, it turns the Hornets into a laughing stock. If you're new Hornets GM Jeff Peterson, what would you do? I'm Jason.
Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson.
This afternoon, 3 to 7 on the Fan. Upstate 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. Only Odyssey.
Eagles Markets is a proud sponsor of the Wire to Wire Sports Span. From the playing field to the stands to your own living room, Eagles Markets has everything you need to fuel your athlete and satisfy all the hungry fans in your life. Eagles, low prices, love the savings.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Charlie James. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management in decades. Regenerative medicine. If your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine and QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results, using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Sheintup. Dr. Sheintup is a pioneer in his field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing, and he wants you to get relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can give you long-term relief with no downtime. Call
What you got, Tiger? What you got?
This is shot 3, so he's got to land this close for a par. He can land this close for a par. Let's get it up and down, big fella. Or not. Oh! Oh, no. That's a long putt for par.
Steven? Is it Pong? Dude, I don't know. 1971. I think video games were, I don't remember. Oh, they're showing him mumbling. Look, they show him like this on the screen.
Tiger talks to himself.
Yeah, I know, but it looks.
So do I.
Yeah, but it looked like an old man on the porch mumble. I swear it did. And no, I don't have a porch. If I did, I'd be out there
My
mumbling.
mother wants to know where you got that shirt.
At the Big and Tall store.
Every store I shop at is a big and tall store.
It's DX, I think. If you're not down with that, it's DXL.
Is there really a store called DX?
It's DXL.
Okay.
I believe. Or is it? Man, I was just there 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's DXL.
Okay.
The thing about these, thank you, Steven. It is DXL. This shirt right here will last a decade because I got a couple. I mean, they cost more, but they last a lot longer because they're made out of better material, not the cheap stuff like the shirts that I usually get. You can just feel it's more heavy duty because it needs to be. Surprised I haven't seen this shirt around. And that's
It's a good shirt.
Comic-Con first day. I was wearing this and got compliments on it. That's how you know your shirt game's pretty good. I always get compliments at Comic-Con on my shirts. So
Tell you how happy I am that the grilled cheese text recipe suggestions are still coming in. Texter said, Rob, when you make grilled cheese, sprinkle garlic powder into your butter before throwing it in the frying pan. That's the way to go. Tiger misses his par putt. He's going to have about a 8-incher to go bogey. So that's going to be 2 bogeys, no birdies for Eldrick in the final 5 of round 1. That's going to move him to +1, and he'll head to the clubhouse, take a little break before he comes back out at 3:45 to play 18 more. Yes, I love that idea. I mentioned this earlier. I'm a big believer in butter, garlic into the food processor, mix that all together, then melt it up in the pan,
wow,
then brush it on the cheese.
That sounds like a lot of work. I think one of the best things about grilled cheese is, man, I don't know. I don't feel like doing that. You know what? I'll just make a grilled cheese. It's one of those things that doesn't take that much effort.
It doesn't have to.
And it makes it taste better because it doesn't take that much effort.
The versatility of being able to make a quick, easy, simple, dirty grilled cheese, or actually make like a real good, nice grilled cheese.
Okay.
It's a versatile food.
Yeah, you're no gourmet.
I am a chef, a very good chef. There is absolutely an
All right, this has been killing me all morning. What color are those pants? Is that
Carolina
aqua?
blue.
Is it?
Yeah,
no, I
baby blue.
don't think so.
Yeah, those are baby blue.
It's a little bit lighter than
They're
that.
in the direct sun. Baby blue. Melt up your butter. And for the record, Texter, I'm going to go with you one better. Garlic powder's fine. if you really want it right, you get you some fresh Irish butter. You drop that in the food presser. You take a couple of cloves, not cloves. What do you call you got the big garlic.
So you're not going to be specific with the Irish butter and go Kerrygold? Because
Kerrygold's the way to go.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But just Irish butter. But Kerrygold's the way to go. You go Kerrygold, you drop that into a processor. Then you take some fresh cut, chopped, and minced up garlic. Fresh. Like, pull it out of the garlic bell yourself. Drop it down in there as well. You blend those together real good. Then you put that whole mixture into the pan. All right. You let that get nice and melty. Get you just the thinnest little layer of it across the bottom. You take your 2 pieces of bread, you drop them in there, you rub them around a little bit. All right. You rub them around so that butter gets into the bread. You let it cook in there. You flip that bread over, you rub it around in there a little bit. You let that cook for a minute. Then you go cheese on one side of the bread. If you want to get a little swanky fancy with it, cut you up some fresh jalapenos, all right? Put those over the top of it. Close that up. Now, what I learned today.
And then you can charge $50 for it. You're overcomplicating a grilled cheese. It should be done in 5 minutes or less.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not the arbiter of food, Lonzo. Isn't that what you said to me earlier?
Okay, there's a new voice for me. And he also looked a lot like John Candy out in front of Wally World. This is weird.
I'm just saying, for somebody who gets mad at arbiters, you sure are arbiting.
I never
arbiting correct?
Raised my voice once. You did. And grilled cheese is convenient. It's quick. I don't see why you have to overcomplicate it.
Because things taste better when you put more
Does
love,
it?
energy, effort into
Does
it.
it?
Yes. Yes.
No.
I just told you how to make it taste better.
Wow.
Little garlic butter.
Wow. Thank you, Arbiter.
You're arbiting.
No. I just told you how to do it. You listen to me.
Right. And then you just told me I shouldn't.
Peasant.
You just told me I shouldn't.
Peasant, go eat your 5-minute sandwich. I'll take 25 minutes and it'll make it taste better.
Have a better sandwich. You're
Yeah.
exactly correct.
Meanwhile, I'm no longer hungry while you're still cooking. So, I mean, you go right ahead.
Right. But when I eat, mine's better. His hands just
Sure.
facts.
Sure. I'm fatter than you. That means I know more than you. When it comes to food.
If that was true, you and I would be sitting on the other side.
No.
of this building.
When it comes to food, that makes me more knowledgeable.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a hard no on that.
Okay. All right.
Do you think ketchup on steak is okay? Immediate.
I don't judge you for what you do with your food as long as it's not in the bed. So that was what I said earlier. I'm gonna stick with that. Put whatever you want on your food. I mean, go ahead.
I am just going. And by the way, after you do the garlic Irish butter mash and then put it in there, apparently just a little spread of mayo on the side of the bread that's going to be the closed face portion of it. Apparently mayo's the way to go. Learn that today. Learn something new today. By the way, I did get the text back from Slithakis.
I was going to say, and I further know that you're a food snob. So, I mean,
how do you know I'm a food snob?
Because you're a snob in everything. The food is just another level.
I'm a snob on important things.
Okay. All right.
Get your food right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Why do you want?
If I think, and you're not going to influence me at all, if I'm at home and I don't feel like making anything, I'll just make a grilled cheese. I'm not going to feel like, oh yeah, but Rob said I should do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. That's too many thises. This is, I mean, you got bread, you got cheese, you want to get butter, that's fine.
Again, you're ignoring the main what I'm saying here. Yes, if you want a quick grilled cheese, make a quick grilled cheese.
As he called it, a dirty grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese.
Why is it dirty?
Because it's quick.
Did I not clean the pan before I put?
It's a metaphor. I know you hate metaphors, analogies, similes, and hypotheticals.
No, I mean dirty means cheap. In your vernacular, it would appear to be. So
it doesn't. Dirty just means you're just doing it it's just the basic. It's just a basic grilled cheese. I'll use basic instead.
That's better. See, that's better.
I'll use basic.
I'm okay with basic.
There are days where your boy's hungry and lazy, and he's gonna make a basic ass grilled cheese, and that is a perfectly fine valid lunch. However, there are times where you want something a little nicer. You want something a little more upscale, something a little more weight to it. All right. And that's when you go with the garlic melted butter grilled cheese.
All right. What does Stathakis say?
I said, Mike, we're having a grilled cheese convo on the show. I have a question. Can you cook a grilled cheese with mayo, like toast the bread with it? He said, and I quote, absolutely. In my experience, very few people order it that way, but you can do it. It's like a patty melt, which mayo is an ingredient. It's debatable. We put it on and then grill it. So he's saying that he goes ahead with the mayo. And by the way, big patty melt guy.
Which is a grilled cheese with meat.
Right. And I am going to point out that Stacks has now pointed out to me, in what I did not consider earlier, that yes, a patty melt is a grilled cheese with meat, and mayo is absolutely a part of the patty melt. So the mayo on grilled cheese, I guess, really shouldn't shock me all that much. And considering, because I am a good South Carolinian, there is Duke's mayo in the fridge right now.
Cold.
Daddy might get home and make himself a little mayo grilled cheese later on this morning.
The fact that he calls himself daddy is even more cultish.
That's not cultish. That's confident.
Are you drinking Kool-Aid with that?
I don't know. I got to tell you, I'm big on the sugar-free Dr. Pepper right now.
Yeah, which I already drink. So, I mean, yeah.
The lady brought some home the other day. She's like, I got told this is, if you're going to go sugar-free soda, the best one. And I think she's right. I think you're right.
It doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper. It has its own taste. And by the way, the Diet Dr. Pepper doesn't taste like that. So, I mean, it's like three different drinks.
Yeah. The Diet Dr. Pepper tastes like a different kind of Dr. Pepper. The sugar-free Dr. Pepper tastes like Dr. Pepper, but not nearly as bold as Dr. Pepper. I always love Dr. Pepper because it's so bold.
That's a good point. It does take the bold out of it, but it still has really good flavor.
It tastes like Dr. Pepper, just without the boldness.
So what you're saying is now I need to start counting my cans? Because the fridge is full of that kind of Dr. Pepper.
I'm not going to take your Diet Dr. Pepper.
Well, you can
mainly
if you
because
want.
she drinks my Diet Dr. Pepper.
No.
It's mine.
I got a mix of zero and yeah.
I'm going with I very well might do the mayo grilled cheese experiment today. I got to stay awake. Can't take the nap today.
Are you going to live stream it? Why do you got to stay awake? You got something going on? It is Friday.
Actually, no, I do have to take a nap. We got Swamp Rabbit hockey tonight
at
the Well.
Yeah, because you want to be on your best alertness when you're walking out on ice.
Got to be on the A game, baby.
Have you bought it any? Have you hit the ice any in your?
One time.
Okay.
One time. And it was my very first game with the Pensacola Ice Flyers. I did the same thing for them for one season when I lived down there. And the very first time I went on the ice. So what I got told was, when you take your first step on the ice, the first step needs to be deliberate, right? You put the foot.
Was this like when we went curling and you put your foot on that thing and it was
kind of. So
was that Teflon? What was that made out of? That
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but
Don't remember.
That was dangerous.
So you get told your first step on the ice has got to be very deliberate. You go flat foot, right? Don't put it down and slide into that flat foot. You put all your weight directly on the center of your foot. And then once you get that foot down, then you can just walk.
So it's
that's
like,
what I want to do.
It's like basically, well, you're from Florida. So this is like walking on normal ice. Like if I was going to school.
I mean, sure, I guess. I don't know.
Because you haven't lived in a wintry climate like I have, and there was ice all over the place.
I just assume ice on the ground is ice on the ground.
Well, I thought maybe you would.
No, that's not true. All right, let me.
I thought you would walk on it differently, but that's how you walk on ice that's on the ground also.
Let me walk through this. So first step is deliberate, but I will also say that there is a difference between walking on ice that's had a period of hockey played on it versus ice that's just been Zamboni. Fresh, smooth, perfect ice is a lot worse than ice that's been skated on where it's choppy and there's ice chips all over it. So the first step, deliberate, and then after that, you just walk. So the first time that I did this for the Ice Flyers, was the opening home game of the 2016 or 17 season. And the dude that had done it before was there. And he's like, look, first step, no worries. Just like be deliberate, put your foot down. I'd never been on a hockey rink on shoes before. I'd skated before, but never on shoes. First step, deliberate, put all your weight down. Then once you're out there, you'll get it. You just walk. I said, okay. So I go out there, put the foot down, feeling real good about it. Go to take the second step. As soon as I shift the weight for the second step, the first foot goes to the right. The second foot goes to the left. Rob Brown comes as close to doing the first set of splits he's ever done in his life. He eats it head over ass backwards onto the ice. And it turns out that over rock and roll music, you can hear 6,500 people laugh at you. Learned that lesson the hard way. It was rough. Finished my little segment, came off the ice. The guy goes, what happened? I said, I don't know, man. I took the deliberate step. I thought I was good. He looks down, and I was wearing a set of like real casual sneakers, like casual kicks, like you would just wear around the house or whatever. And he goes,
You mean Skechers? You were wearing Skechers?
No, they were
Okay.
Nikes, but they weren't like Jordans. They weren't like basketball shoes. They were like trainers, right? And he looks down and he goes, oh yeah, no, don't wear those. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Tommy. Thank you very much. Good to know now.
So what are you supposed to wear? I mean, what kind of shoes are you supposed to wear? Dress shoes? Or?
Shoes with a rubber sole and grip. Like not like flat sole shoes. It's got to have some tread, got to have some lines, some marks, some divots.
Like running shoes?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So like my go-to now are Adidas Sambas. If you see me out on the ice, I'm wearing Sambas. Because the Sambas are made for playing indoor soccer, like basketball court soccer. So they're made to grip a flat, smooth surface. And that's what I rock now. But yes, I ate it hard. I bought the farm in front of about 6,500 people at the Pensacola Bay Center. It was slightly... I'm trying to decide if that or not being able to squeeze my gigantic behind into the NASCAR stock car was more humiliating. I'm actually, I think, going to go with the stock car. I'm going to say that was more humiliating, primarily because the NASCAR drivers were right there.
I think you should. The NASCAR thing, even though it's in front of less people, it's more intimate because you're right there and you probably had to finish the tour with those people. Whereas with out on the ice, you just walked off the ice and didn't see them anymore. Right?
I think it would have been way worse at the hockey game had the two teams been on the ice. You know what I mean? Had like the players been out there, had the coach been out there, had those guys been out there. I think it would have been a dramatically more humiliating experience.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have got up. I would have had to have people come out on purpose and just fell like 3 or 4 more times to make it look like I fell on purpose.
It is.
Did you think about that?
No, it is incredibly motivating to have 6,000 people laughing at you. The adrenaline spike you get right there. Not only was I getting back up, I was jumping on the ice to show that I couldn't, because again, flat bottom sole shoes, lesson learned. Nobody wanted to tell me that before I did it. But I'm going to go eating bleep on the ice dramatically worse than not being able to score, or excuse me, not worse than being unable to squeeze into a stock car. Let's get a phone call in here before we take a break. Who we got?
Jersey Joe.
Jersey Joe, what's up, big dog? Welcome to the show, big fella.
What's going on, guys? How you been, man?
Real good, partner. How are you?
Hey, talking about being on the ice when back in the old Greenville Growl days, me and my two ex-brother-in-laws used to do the bad dog thing. We used to put the tiniest sheet metal screws we can find in our sneakers, and that would give us traction walking on the ice.
Yeah, they make these they like slip over your shoes. They're like rubber that wrap around your shoe, and then on the bottom they have like golf spikes, like real small golf spikes. And they make those. Nobody gave me one of those, Joe, before I went out and bought the farm in front of a stadium full of people. I wish I would have known that at the time.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, the sheet metal screws worked real good. And the best thing about being on ice, though, was when we got ready to leave the ice, we would run and slide on our bellies across the ice. That was the best part.
Have not done that. Will not do that. Don't have any interest. Good on you for being an animal, you animal. Joe, good to talk to you, buddy. Appreciate you checking in, my man. Good to hear from you. Joe, I've seen pictures of Joe and his ex-brother-in-laws in the old Greenville Growl days. Lonzo, they were the shirts off, letters painted on the chest dudes at the Growl games.
Awesome.
It's actually said if you fall, knock out a few push-ups and you look epic. No, you don't. Not when you lay an ass first and then shoulders after. There's no recovering from that. Would it crank out a couple of crunches?
Yeah.
I meant to do this, y'all.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that. No coming back from that at all. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll ask what the X is going on. I'll give you a final Masters scoreboard rundown as the first round golfers are coming in. The second round guys going out in just a few minutes. It's the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform developed by AmericanEagle.com has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at repairclinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK. Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of
Wow. Come on, Rob.
At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who love technology.
From the Ingles Market Studio.
Time to squeeze in quickly what the X so he can update you on the leaderboard. All right, the first thing that's Xing is Harrison Ford.
Got nothing. No idea why Indiana Jones / Han Solo is trending.
Well, he is now Thunderbolt Ross, and he is trending because there's a clip, I think, that I haven't seen yet with him and Anthony Mackie. And he is telling...
that's a good combo.
And he's telling him to assemble the Avengers.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
So,
now, are we going to get Red Hulk Harrison Ford? Because please, that would be amazing.
Don't know. I don't know who the bad guy is in it. They've changed the name of Captain America 4 several times. It was like New World Order. It's changed to something else now. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going through a series of writers. I know they're filming Thunderbolts right now too. So it's can't wait to see what happens with that. The next thing that's Xing is Danhausen.
Also don't know why Danhausen is trending. I've seen him pop up a couple of places, wrestled a couple of indie shows around WrestleMania weekend.
All right, two things. One is people are wondering why he's not being used because he is healthy and he's wrestling other
Yep,
other
he's
places.
wrestling indie shows.
But it looks like mostly because of his support for CM Punk. And if you follow Danhausen, he and CM Punk are like always at shows together and stuff like that. So
I am intrigued by that whole thing. I did not finish Dynamite before we did Fight Club yesterday. I went back and watched it, and I saw a part of the FTR promo in the ring after the Young Bucks showed the video.
Yeah.
And I will say that to show that video and work it into a storyline, to me, kind of takes away from the weight of it a little bit. Like, it makes it feel like it's just part of the story when I don't know that it is. That was the point where I was like, all right, it's probably best if you guys move on from this and like never bring it up again.
Well, we'll see what the Backlash does and what they do next week or what they do Saturday on Collision or even tonight on Rampage. And finally, the last thing that's Xing is Hot Ones.
I have not watched the most recent episode.
All right, here's the reason why it's trending. Conan O'Brien supposedly put in the best performance ever on Hot Ones. The most entertaining, anyway.
If you haven't watched it, it is a phenomenal show. It's a great show. And it's a great show because they, as an interviewer and as somebody who does this for a living, and for those of you that have listened, you may have picked this up by now. One of the things that I think a good interviewer tries to do is tries to break down the person you're interviewing and get them to talk to you like a human being.
Unless it's R-Truth and you don't have to.
Unless it's R-Truth and he just comes in guns blazing. But like most guys, when you start the interview, you know, especially with like athletes, with actors and actresses, musicians, there is, and you know what I'm talking about. There's like cliche ways that you answer interview questions. You know, I'm very fortunate and lucky to be here and making this music means so much to me. And like those things might be true, but like, yes, everybody says that. Nobody's ever been like, this music doesn't mean anything to me. I just want to sell records, right? Like that might be true for a lot of them, but they're not going to say it. My goal is
I sold out a long time ago, Rob. It's all about, you know, how much money I can make.
Yeah, outside of Lonzo.
Yeah.
Artists don't talk like that.
I was giving you an example. I mean, would that be refreshing or would you be like, oh,
no,
okay.
I mean, I would appreciate it, but I also understand it would kill anything they have going. But so as an interviewer, my goal is always to disarm out of the gate and get you talking to me like I'm one of the boys, not a guy who's interviewing you, so that you get realistic answers. That's what Hot Wings does. It breaks these people down via hot sauce so that they start answering questions like normal people.
It was a great idea. I mean, the fact that they're going to be
idea.
so focused on how hot their mouth is that they might answer things in a way that they wouldn't normally.
Phenomenal idea. All right, quick rundown the Masters leaderboard as we are almost out of time. Bryson DeChambeau, as we mentioned earlier, clubhouse leader, all alone on top of the board at 7 under with a first round 65, one stroke ahead of the betting odds on favorite Scotty Scheffler, who turned in an opening round 6 under 66. Nikolai Hogard, Max Homa, Cam Davis, all T3 right now at 5 under. Danny Willett is in 6th at 4 under, 3 under. Ryan Fox is in 7th by himself. We got a multi-way tie for 8th. Joaquin Neiman, Cam Young, Matthew Pavon, Byung-Hoon An, Neil Shipley, and my dog, Willie Z, Will Zalatoris, all at 2 under. Patrick Cantlay, Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, Eric Van Rooyen, Matt Fitzpatrick, Kurt Kitayama, Tommy Fleetwood, and Tony Finau. Thorbjorn Olesen, Cam Smith, Lucas Glover, Taylor Moore, all at 1 under. Justin Thomas, Eric Cole, Xander Schauffele, Akshay Bhatia, Tyrell Hatton, Tom Kim, Sergio, Harris English, Cullen Morikawa, all at even at +1. VJ, Phil Mickelson, Sepp Straka, Wyndham Clark, Brooks Koepka, Ludwig Aberd, Mike Weir, John Rahm, Tiger Woods, bogeys 18 to move him at 1 over. He will tee it back up this afternoon. Stuart Hogstead, Adam Schenk, Danny McCarthy, Russell Henley, all at 1 under. Notables. Shane Lowry is at +2. Patrick Reed is as well. Going down the leaderboard, Justin Rose is 2 over. Sahith Theegala 2 over. Bubba Watson 2 over. Everybody else 3 over or worse, including Jason Day. That's it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. Do not drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face and put mayo on your grilled cheese and let us know how it is Monday. See you back here on Monday on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate later. Yeah!
So how many names did you get right in that?
Most of them.
You think so?
Most of them.
There's a couple in there I think might have been iffy, but you know.
Iffy.
Yeah.
Not necessarily wrong. Just iffy. Oh, man. All right, that's it for us, kids. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Oh, I thought they had his did I get it wrong? Because Joey B there
So I was right.
this morning the Masters website had him listed at like 3:54 p.m. So they're making him turn it back around. Okay. Well, there you go. I just sounded like an idiot on the radio. That's not new. The website said he teed back up at like.
It's okay. You said it with confidence. I mean, so that's
Yeah, but
all
I'm
that
wrong,
matters.
and I do not like being wrong.
Well, when you are wrong, you're wrong confidently.
That's true.
So I mean,
True. It's showing 10:18 now. Okay, well, this morning it had like 3:54, which was I was like, are they running it back late? But hey, there you go. Well, either way, I'm going home to watch it. So thanks for being here. You're all incredible people. Lights out, so we're out. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. If you come to a Swamp Rabbits game today, I will see you there. If not, I'll see you Monday. Goodbye.